They've always come in crooked. It's weird. What was I looking for? What's the deal, y'all, man? Hit them likes for me and share, man, if y'all can, so I can start this subject. I keep forgetting that jump be flipped. Oh my gosh, I keep doing that. It's this new update that be just making that jump do that. It's so crazy. Where that? That's so crazy. Should be good now. What's the deal, baby? Toddy in the building. What's the deal?
Good morning, y'all.
What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal? What's the deal, Davey? How you feeling, man? I'll let you in the box in a minute. I usually talk about this topic real quick before I let everybody up. But if you stick around, man, I'll let you up, man. I got you. Talking about confrontational or just confrontations, period. Okay, yeah. But I got you for sure, David, man, if you stick around. If y'all can hit them likes for me real quick, I'm gonna try to I usually try to start at when after I hit 1,000 likes real quick. But yeah, I'm gonna do that, but I gotta do something real quick on this page real quick. Post this video. And if y'all can share it too, share it to some people that might but no, I'm just talking about confrontational people in general. But you'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. It's just all different type of forms of it. Let me see something real quick. Just want to post this video on Facebook. I put it on TikTok and YouTube. See something real quick. Thank you for the rose. Thank you for the rose. There's some rose in this house. There's some rose in this house. What do you mean by this? Oh yeah, I tell you, you'll see some Kaylee Love. A lot of us is probably that person too. That's another thing. So we probably wouldn't know because we usually be some of them people. You know, I used to be that type of person. I just realized this. You know, people that don't know how to avoid confrontation. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. People that don't know how to avoid or don't even try. About to be. Just give me 1 second. I'm be. See something. Come in here with my backup. Come in here in the backup. What's the deal? Lovely is in the building. What's the deal? I'm about to help y'all out in a minute with the likes in a minute. I got you. Easy saying you want to fight or you want to talk. Yeah, I was just looking at, thought about this one video and stuff. You saying like people, hold up before I talk. I gotta set this. I gotta hit them 1,000 likes before I talk. Hold up. Whoa there. I got you right now. Watch this. You see it's at 7:51? Okay. Now watch this. Mr. Laugh Backup is in the building. Mr. Laugh Backup doing the speedy fingers real quick for y'all. Get to this 1,000. I'm doing the double fingers and stuff. Oh, we got the 1,000 now. We got a little bit more since I just started helping. Get a little bit more. A little bit more. Hit them shares, man. New people that came in here, if you're not, you know what I'm saying, hit them shares, likes, you know what I'm saying. All that's free. All that's free, man. Ain't nobody asking for no gifts and nothing. I just want people to, you know, tune in. That's all. All right. Let's see. Being around confrontational people. It's dangerous for our future. For your future, for my future, for all our future, you know. So everybody had that people, or they are that person. I know you ain't gonna want to own up to that till you set that pride to the side. You know what I'm saying? But that person that feel like soon as they, you know, they feel like they got checked or something like that, or they feel like that you got disrespected, and you know, all of us got that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But it's just everybody got different tolerance bars and stuff. So some people just they basically look for confrontation or something like that because they want to be tough, the tough person, you know what I'm saying? What, do you talk to me like that? Who you think you talking to like that, man? You cut me off, you know what I'm saying? And people that always got to look at people's cars and stuff or whatever, you know. What's the deal? CD in the building. You know, people that's always want to look at people's cars when they get crossed over. Like I said, a lot of us, I'm probably talking to y'all, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, I'm just trying to put it in general, though. Like, I'm just letting people know that, you know what I'm saying? We got to, at the end of this, I just want to let people know we got to start being more avoidance of confrontation. So it's just people, like I said, somebody cut you off or make you feel a certain way, which is comes to the ego and all that stuff. Cut you off on the car, you feel like you got to drive and stuff and look them in their eyeballs and let them know that you put that fear in them and all that stuff. But somebody gonna be about their life one day, you know what I'm saying? So I'm saying that, you know, we don't know what people be going through and all that stuff. They might have been doing that, didn't know that they even cut you off. And, you know, they might have had a bad day, done lost some family members or something like that, and you done messed with the wrong person. Then that's why, like, recently, there been so many stuff been happening on the talking about, I told you I'm about to be talking about some people for sure. But I'm just saying, it's dangerous. That's some stuff I had to put on the, she said, talking about me. I'm about to talk about a lot of people. But I'm just saying it is dangerous. It made me think about this one video because I seen, and I actually talked about it on my page too. Like this chick, she was dating this dude and stuff, and oh my, this dude, he trying to be cool, sit back. What's the deal? Empress in the building, peanut butter in the building. He's chilling, sitting back. You know, the dude like, yeah, I don't want to start nothing. So, you know what I'm saying? He trying to be non-confrontational, you know what I'm saying? So he got a story. That's why I said I can't wait to start letting people because I know everybody got some stuff for sure. And this, I feel like this is a topic. So I seen a video of this dude. She was actually bragging about this stuff. Like a lot of people be bragging about this stuff and just want to be the tough person and all that stuff or whatever. But yeah, he's chilling in the back, and that was her that made the post. She like, yeah, when my man sitting there back or something like that. So he chilling. He like, all right, I'm good, bro. You don't need that. And then she in the background like, swing. Talking about we said swing 304 or something like that. Whatever, you know. I don't know. I could talk. I gotta talk kind of weird on TikTok because you know how they be. But telling him swing, like swing, what you gonna do? Swing. My man's in the back, like dog. He trying to walk away. He tried to walk away, and she just talking about swinging and all that stuff. So that's what I be meaning about that situation. Like, they'll put you in a situation where you was about to just walk away from it, and now you got to take up for yourself because that's your, that's your girl. You got to stick your chest out because you was already about to be smooth and stuff. Now you got to stick your chest out and like, man, you don't be talking to my girl like that. You were just about to be smooth and walk away from the guy. Now you gotta prove yourself and all this stuff, and then you get put into a situation. You know what I'm saying? So you don't know how that's gonna end. And that's why I'm meaning about that can be dangerous. You know what I'm saying? And the thing is, like I always tell people, I try to get people to, if you can avoid confrontation. If you can avoid confrontation, I mean, even if it make you feel like you weak or you soft or something like that, it's best to just walk away most of the time, or just, suck it up and let it go. Cause it's stuff like we've been doing this since we was younger. Some people still carried it to this day or whatever. I used to be like that real bad. Cause the way I grew up and stuff, I'm like, you know what? I can't be no punk or nothing like that. I'm not about to, you not about to just do this and then think I'm about to get away with it. Like, who you think you is and all that stuff. It do make you say that real quick. Who you think you is, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. You ain't about to do me like that or something like that. But the thing is, we got to realize there's people in this world that don't care. They don't care at all. They waiting for you to do that. They wait for you to snap, get out that character. They ready to push you somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's got some type of built up stuff in them anyways. They ready for that. They ready for that fight. You know what I'm saying? Dude called my ex-wife out her name. I had to pull her off him. I had to pull her off him. Oh dang. Oh my. You gotta tell that story back up here again. You gotta tell that one. Easy. Ain't no R. Kelly. You BSing, man. But yeah, man, like I said, my thing is this what goes for anybody. So that was just a relationship that they put you in a confrontational situation when you trying to avoid it or something like that. So you got a person that can put you in that situation. And that's what I mean by hanging around people that's confident. Even if you might be that person, they probably don't want to hang around you. You know what I'm saying? So I said what I said. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, it's like that's real dangerous. Like, you have no point to prove all the time. Cause like at the end of the day, especially if you're not about to be the one that's about to tussle with somebody and stuff, and you expecting that your man do it for you or your boy to do it up for you or something like that. Like, you don't want to be around nobody like that, because you will be set up all your life. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you're dating them or something like that. That junk is not cool. Like, next minute you at the restaurant, they over there. Why you ain't do my food right or something like they gotta just have you know what I'm saying? Gotta just show out and all that stuff instead of trying to be polite. And like I'm saying, you don't know what's going on either side. Even if, okay, I'm putting it this way, this is how serious it is. Like, even if a person is having a bad day, I'll be having to suck it up so many times. That's what she said. But even if she having somebody might be having a bad day, get your order wrong or something like that, might have a stanky attitude. Sometimes, it's best to, I know it's gonna feel good too, just letting it out. Like, man, I know it's gonna feel good. Like, man, what's wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Nobody tell you work here. You want to cuss them out and all that stuff, some stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I know you want to do that stuff, but the best bet, that's all this fails. That's what you go to at the end of the day. But if you can avoid confrontation, do that. You know what I'm saying? Everything don't have to be confronted all the time. That's why I be telling some people, I was even at the job, like, dude, you don't have to confront every last situation when you feel a certain way or you feel like you get disrespected or something. You gotta let some stuff slide and all that stuff. Cause like I said, we don't know everybody. All of us think we the toughest. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, at the end of the day, most of the time that either get us hurt, either 6 feet under or in jail. It's gonna be one of the two. And then, like, all that time we done put our life into something, we just living the rest or not living the rest of our life, either in jail or somewhere like that. So it's like being, even if you got friends, like, I know y'all got some confrontational friends. You might have a confrontational family members, which I do. I have them too. That's why I'm talking about it. You know what I'm saying? That's not good to be around. It's not good to be around. They gonna have to They gonna have to get down on their own or something like that. Cause it's like if you trying to live a peaceful type of life or something like that, and you know the person that you around that you hang with is always starting stuff with other people and all that stuff, they gonna put you in a situation you ain't gonna be able to get out of. They gonna straight up do that. It's like no different from what people used to do in high school and all that stuff, and they bring that to adulthood. You know, adulthood really ain't playing with you because you do that stuff out in the streets. You know, that might be the last time you see them streets. You know what I'm saying? So that junk is crazy, and it's people that's like really like that. Like they feel like they gotta jump at every last single thing. They gotta or be alive. Oh yeah, if I had your time to be right, exactly. They even worse now these days, man. They even worse. I'm scared to mess with these kids, man. That's how bad it is. These kids don't know no better. Shoot, you mess with these kids, they already got some illegal stuff on them and all that stuff, and they ain't about to swing no more. They not swinging no more. Not like back in our time. They is not swinging no more. They feeling like the toughest of the toughest, and they really just soft. They soft behind that thing. You know what I'm saying? They soft behind it, but they feel like they tough when they got that. It be this little scrawny little head dudes. Because they know they ain't been working out or doing nothing. They ain't got no hands or nothing. They just ready to pull that out and feel like man. That junk sad. That junk crazy. That's why I say I ain't trying to mess with nobody in these streets for real, no key. Cause like I said, I'm done playing that I'm so tough role and all that stuff. That junk is crazy. Like that, it only gets you so far. Like I had to do when I was younger, you know, to survive a little bit. But you know what I'm saying? Now that I'm grown and I got a little bit more control in my life, I'd rather just walk away, drive away, you know what I'm saying, get out that situation, and then, you know, last resort, yeah, I'm gonna have to do what I gotta do if I'm like cornered somewhere, if I can't get away from the situation, yeah. I would just say let that be the last thing in protection, you know what I'm saying? Not because I'm angry or something like that. Oh man, what you talking about like that? What you wanna do? What you wanna do? You know what I'm saying? People be ready for them what you wanna do's, man. They be ready for that. They be waiting for that word. That's what they wait on daily for that word because people guys they be want to let their anger out, man. It's stuff people be going through things in their life. They ready to let that anger out. That what you want to do anger out. You know what I'm saying? They ready for that. That you do not want to be their punch board. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to be that little toy that they play with and all that stuff. Or it could be the opposite. You might end up doing that, but sure, who know how that gonna be? They might cry to the police on you. You done for. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff, like it don't work. Usually, none of that stuff ends a good way. Some people don't even take a loss right. They ready to like, oh, you told me up. Okay, it's cool. You think people nowadays? That's what I'm learning now. Nowadays, because that's back then we used to be like, oh, it's a lesson or something like that. You done lump somebody up and stuff. Maybe a lesson. Then they get soft. Like I'm scared of you. No, they not playing at these times, man. They're not playing that stuff, man. People is not taking no losses. They is not taking losses now. If you tear them up, they gonna come back, either try to come with a bunch of people, they gonna try to find where you live, they gonna do something. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no nowadays people is not taking L's no more. Then even when you do that, you go back and get them, you know what I'm saying? Or say if you end up having to take a person off this earth or something like that, like even that, they family gonna come looking for you, something like it's like never ending. That situation is just once confrontation starts, it starts, man. Like I said, it's just sometimes, like I said, and y'all gonna hear that word, ego and pride. That's the main thing I'm talking about. That's what's putting us all through this whole situation. Like I don't know if y'all listen to Kendrick Lamar, he mentioned that on the song a couple times. Pride to get us toe up. He said something else, another word, the unalive, pride to get us unalive, but that junk is true. I had used this analogy. I don't know if y'all heard, no, y'all haven't heard it before, but I was basically like, pride is like a person that's two cars driving at each other and stuff, and you know they like, shoot, I ain't about to move, you about to move out the way. And then another car like, I'm not about to move, you about to move out the way. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? They still just driving to each other. And, I ain't moving. Shoot, you about to be whoever the soft one about to move. I ain't soft or something like that. Then finally you just pop. They popped each other and they both gone because of the ego. Ain't nobody. And see, and it shows that in life, it got to be one bigger person to not make things worse. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all both going head to head, You know what I'm saying? And y'all not about to move out the way. You know what I'm saying? That's ego right there. Y'all both not about to move away. Now y'all both out of there. You know what I'm saying? Y'all both out of there because of pride. Just because one person could be a bigger person, and you know what? All right, I'm gonna just let you slide, man. You just on some other stuff. I'll let you be the tough guy. You know what I'm saying? I'll just let you do that. You know what I'm saying? You ain't even gotta let them know that. Just whatever. You gotta be smart sometimes. Pride make you do foolish things. You know what I'm saying? It makes you do that. Make you do, because like I said, all of us wish to be made. I don't know if all of us want to wish to do that, but you know, everybody want to be the tough one or the fear and all that stuff. But for what? You know what I'm saying? For what? We ain't never asked that question to ourselves. What do we want that for? You know what I'm saying? I was talking to one of my boys before that. He's like, do you want to live in love or fear, or you want to be feared or something like that? I'd rather be loved. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be walking around and everybody like, that's not my type of character now. You know what I'm saying? Maybe when I was younger, the teenager, kid days and all that stuff, I'm not looking to be feared. You know what I'm saying? What is that going to do for me? Because at the end of the day, it's like the movies and stuff. When you got that one superhero that's feared by a lot of people, everybody want to take him out because he's the scary guy. You know, just like mobsters and all that stuff. Oh, you feared? It's somebody trying to take that guy out because everybody's scared of them. Everybody don't like being controlled by them or feeling like they no different from like what's going on in this world. Like everybody, you got top people in there. Everybody want to take the power and stuff. And then, I'm the top dog and all that stuff. And people trying to knock the top dog down. Like who want to live that type of life? If you live in life to be feared, that mean you have to be the tough guy, which means you got to live a tough life to stay that way. Because that junk is not easy to be tough all your life. That's not even easy at all. You got to live. You want to act like you ain't going to get touched. You got to live looking over your shoulder and all that stuff. But you can't show it in your face because you tough guy. You like, But you still looking in your shoulder. You doing it slow though. It's like, okay, something like that. No, darn well, somebody pop a firecracker behind you, done for. You done messed your drawers up. But man, it's just who about to do that, man? But let me get back on subject, man. About the what's the deal? Cool ride in the middle. Welcome back to the live, man. Like I said, you wanna avoid people that especially I'm gonna say especially if they an adult. I'm gonna give them past 25 or something. I don't know, because I know a lot of people still young and all that stuff, and they still gotta grow out of it. But if they ain't ready right there and they don't know how to avoid confrontation. I'm put it this way: if they don't know how to avoid confrontation outside in the real world, you can and just take that from there. That'd be the warning. Like they can't avoid confrontation with their cousins, they can't avoid it with their family outside in the grocery store. They can't do that. It's a matter of time, and I'm talking about dating now. Back to dating. It's a matter of time you're going to be that next person because they don't know how to. You could be able to tell in the art. I could tell the type of people based off how I talk to them on here. If they don't know how to avoid, like if we doing an argument, we know that we about to get mad at each other. I can just tell the type of person already. I'll be having in my mind like, yep, I already know. I ain't if it's a chick or something like that. I'm not. She ain't my type. I already know because she don't even know how to avoid this little situation, especially when I'm trying to change the subject and all this stuff. Them the people that come in that type of form and all that stuff. Like they can't change the subject and stuff. That's how you know they're a confrontational person because they don't know how to let stuff go. You know what I'm saying? Or all it. That junk, like I said, if you see it on the outside, they do it. Whatever they do to their family, whatever they do to their friends, 9 times out of 10, when they get mad enough, you gonna be the next victim. You is not gonna be no different. That's all I'm saying. You will be the next one. You are not that special. You might be giving her something to make her feel and she giving him something to make him feel good or whatever. But both sex or whatever. But at the end of the day. However they treat their people on the outside, you only taming them for the moment. You taming them for the moment until you make them mad. And when you make them mad, you're going to see that same side that they give for everybody else. It's just no different. So that's why you can tell a person before you even date them and stuff, based off how they socialize with people. How they socialize with people is going to be a whole nother, it's going to be basically enough. If you want to say if it's a red flag, you can see it already. You don't even have to put yourself in that situation. So that's why I be like, don't be getting blinded by how a person look or how they look or how they talk to you and all that stuff and smooth it. They can do it different, but I'm saying you look at how they socialize and stuff. Look at how they they talk about their boss and all that stuff, or how they always got to be gossiping all the time, or how they, you know what I'm saying, all that stuff, that is warnings right there. That is warnings, and that's somebody that you probably don't want to get with. You don't want to get with. You don't probably want to be friends with. You don't want to probably be in a relationship with or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And even if it's in your family, you don't want to you just want to avoid them. I mean, you can love them. You love them from a distance and stuff, but you want to avoid them. I got you in a minute, Touche. But you want to avoid them. Like people that's like that don't know how to just, all right, man, try to keep some type of peace and stuff, and always just looking to, you want to get down and all that stuff, and always trying to. You want to avoid them people, man. Like I said, that gets you nowhere. You only play the tough role. That person can be the tough role for only so long until somebody end up, like I said, taking them off this earth, or they end up in jail. Like either way, you're wasting time for what? You're wasting time. You wasted everything you done put in this world just because you didn't know how to walk away or be quiet. It was one of the two. You had a few options, walk away, be quiet, maybe even. If you're on the website, all you gotta do is block or never be unfriend them or something. Like, you got options out here to even, you know what I'm saying? You is not stuck in the corner and have to look at a person and be like, man, I gotta yell back at you and all that stuff. No, I don't think nobody's like that. They just choose to do that because their ego and stuff, man. That pride, they choose to do that. Hold up, I think doing this weird stuff. They just choose to do that, man. But like I said, it's no different, man. My whole point is you want to dodge like anybody that just don't know how to. And I'm not saying that there's some people that actually do know how to, or they just don't know how to handle their emotions and all that stuff or whatever. But I'm just saying if it's like dang near 9 times, or I ain't gonna say that, if they dang near 50-50 with trying to avoid, and that's too high already, 50-50 chance of avoiding confrontation or not. You know what I'm saying? And it ain't like 3%. I ain't gonna say that's kind of low, but at least 10%. I don't know, whatever. But if they don't know a way to try to avoid it and not let their ego and stuff get to them and avoid confrontation, you gotta get up out of there, man. You gotta get up out of there. They're not friend material for you. They not nothing material. No type of relationship material for you. What's the deal? King is in the building. What's the deal, man? Yeah. But like I said, you can tell. And if you're one of them, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? That means start working on yourself, man. That's all. Start working on yourself. Stop always running your mouth all the time. You ain't got to run your mouth to every last person that you feel that made you feel like they put you in your place and all that stuff. Even that's probably just burnt one of y'all right now. You put me in my place. What? He put nothing nowhere. You know what I'm saying? I know you probably looking dead in my eyeball right now. Chill. You know what I'm saying? But shoot, just got to get that together, man. Because what's being tough? Tough don't do nothing for nobody. That's what I'm saying. That don't do nothing for nobody. You got to start. The best option is to walk away or shut our mouth most of the time, man. We'll be all right. We wake up and see another day. Like I said, all it took is you know what I'm saying? All we got, because going in a confrontational situation, all you got to do is what? Most of the time I had to cuss somebody out and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Saying all this other stuff. Got to go back to their family, report how tough they is. And I'm like, no, what, you about to get a medal for that or something like that? Like, sweet. You're feared more. Cool. You know what I'm saying? Nobody care for real. They don't care. All they is finding more of a reason to avoid you. That's all it is. They act like they smooth with you, but they know, because eventually they ain't gonna want to be around you, especially if you just don't know you all, because eventually they know it's gonna come to them one day. So, that joint is crazy, man. But I'll start letting people up. I think I said enough. I have nothing to prove to a confrontation. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I learned that as I grew up. I learned that, man. Like, man, I got to a point like you want to argue or you want to getting sweaty and all that stuff or whatever, getting mad and cool, man. I'm just gonna let you do that. I can't let you make me stoop down to your level because you stressing. You know what I'm saying? I can't, because you stress. You're not about to make me stress because you stressing and stuff. Like, I'm good, man. You know, I hit you up when you back smooth again. You want to hold a grudge, you do that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing against you at the end of the day. So you got something against me, you don't got to be in here. That's all it is. But yeah. Let me start letting some people up now. I think I got enough out of my what you call it. You know what I'm saying? What is up? Everybody on tip today. Everybody's on tip with these, what you call it? Let me get you up out of here, buddy. Let me get you up out of here, buddy. We talking about people with art. Got too shade. Who else trying to come up in the box, man? Guys, I'm in there now. I'm done talking now, man. See, tell me how y'all feel, y'all experience with confrontational people. Let's try not to get none of us try not to get community guideline because I can't. I notice when somebody get community guideline in my room or in what you call it, my recording, I can't record my video. I put all my recordings on YouTube, and so it messed my whole video up. So I just ask for y'all to not get community guidelined in here. Here comes the bots. Right, exactly. I don't know where they came from. That's just weird. What happened? They ain't let Touche up. King, I can't. I ain't gonna even ask him. Last time I asked him to come up, I got banana. So I'm talking to him about him being in the shower. I got just request that when you're ready, King. If you coming up, I don't want to ask at the wrong time. Ah man, I messed up. I think that is that what I said that day when I was joking around. I think that's what got me. I think that's what got me though. I think them two words is powerful together. That junk is powerful. I think they got that set up to even though I'm like, man, that's sad though. People can't make jokes. Whatever. This is getting me to talk. It's so bad. It's so bad that this gonna be having me talking to work weird. Like, what the heck? I heard somebody in like, no, I'm about to, the K word. I'm about to, what you call? I'm scared to even say it on here, but they said the real word, and I'm like, oh, you want to say unalive? I'm saying it in my mind. You want to say unalive, unalive? I'm like, hold on, this the real world. What am I talking about? You can say what you want. I was got me talking weird in person. TikTok got me talking weird, man. Like my man was unalived. I got banana. I be saying that when I be on the phone, like, dude, I got banana. Act like I can't say the real word. Like, dog, this shit got me messed up. Oh my, that's funny. Who was this cool ride in the building? Why they say Touche was connecting, but I don't know what happened to him.
What's up?
What's the deal, man? How you feeling, man?
Man, chillin', man.
Oh
Chillin',
yeah.
man. On this second job, trying to get it over with. You know,
Oh, you grinding?
what's popping with you? I hear you. I hear you now. I hear you talking. I said, let me get on in here and get this thing started, man. They scared to come in, try to help a brother out. Let's help a brother out.
Right.
You know what I'm
They
saying?
like, hey, they ain't coming in the box because
What's
they one of
wrong
them
with
people in. That's what it is. They like, they ain't talking about me. I can't go in here like
That's
this.
what it is.
I'm gonna wait till you talk about some
Yeah.
positive stuff real
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, he think he's slick. He running reverse psychology. But yeah,
Ken, where
man,
did you go? What
you
you
know,
talking about? I'm gone?
dealing with people.
Hold on, let me see something real quick. Why they saying my stuff gone? Can y'all hear me at least?
Uh-oh.
He kicked Kev out his
Yeah,
own
yeah,
box.
we
Can
can
y'all
hear
hear
you.
me?
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
we can hear you.
I'm trying to see if they can hear me. It might be different. Okay, y'all can hear me. Did my face move
Okay.
now? Yeah, because they saying they can't see
Well,
me
you
in
got
the.
smaller.
That's what she said. Oh wait, no, that's not what she said. No, that's not what she said. Hey, I messed up. Can y'all see me now? There I go. There. Okay, cool. I'm back. Hey, what you was saying? My bad, brother. They was talking about they couldn't see me.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying that, those kind of people, I call them funny bunnies.
Oh,
You know, they just, yeah, they funny bunnies. You know, they make me laugh. You know, it's like, it is what it is. You know, attitude is just being unlearned at certain times, and we all fall short. You know, in certain situations, certain circumstances. You know, so the things we talk about sometimes we're talking about the experience that we have or had in life. You know, so the way I normally deal with it is, you know, I just listen. You know, sometimes when they think you're on the opposite end or the lower end, you know, or feel inferior, you know, to what they say and what their standards are or whatever their mentality is, just be patient. Just be patient and just listen. And then what you do, you just give a straight answer, you know, and just be patient. You don't have to react and respond the same way that they think. You know, so the key is to maneuver, you know, have the capability to maneuver around the drama, maneuver around the actual attitude, because people like that, they have a build up. Right. They got to build up to a certain degree, and then all of a sudden they pop you, boom. Right. You know, you be like, you know, so that's why I call them funny bunnies. You know, people that be tripping, they actually kind of funny, you know, when you take it the wrong way, you know. So yeah, that's one thing. That's so one of my little tactics. How many funny bunnies we got out in the chat then, since y'all so scared? We got some funny bunnies down there. We got some funny bunnies out here. We got some funny bunnies out here. I'll let y'all free the next day, but tonight is the day we address the funny bunnies. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I tell you, that's amazing. That's amazing. But good topic. You know, somebody float through and they'll probably get in the box and talk about that, because that's what we need to do. We need to talk about how to deal with drama, how to deal with certain attitudes, because there's different types of attitudes for different type levels of people. You know, so don't let stuff like that over frustrate you, you know, and make you so aggravated till you just say, I give up, or I'm just so sick and tired. Now they have the power to take over you know, right. So you give them the power to take over you, and you begin to act out of character, and then you come to find out they were just playing, they were just talking, they ain't even taking it for real. That's what I'm saying. They're funny bunnies. They were just they at the end of the day, they're the Wizard of Oz. They were just playing. Couldn't find out he was a midget. You know, couldn't find out they really didn't mean what they said. You know, so man. It is what it is. That's why you know, I just be peaceful with it, man. That's the best way to go about it. Just kind of think about it. Be in peace. Stay in rhythm. You know, listen. Just wait on the lie. Wait on the things that you know that's not true. And then you'll know how to handle them with the truth. And if they don't understand the truth, then you know how to separate yourself. So you got to speak peaceful separation too. Learn how to speak that peaceful separation, separating your words and your understanding from theirs. Because that's what they want to do. They want to stain your mind to make you think or believe exactly what they're saying. It's really witchcraft, you know. So, yeah. To change your mind is witchcraft, you know. So you got to think about all that, you know, what they want me to do in this particular scenario. How do they want me to understand? You know, what knowledge is this? You know, is this familiar? And anytime it's an unfamiliar knowledge, then you know you're dealing with the opposite when it's unfamiliar. Now, I'm going to tell you something. Sometimes we can't be intimidated. That's why we got to be patient. We got to be patient because it may be some experiences that we never experienced ourselves. You know, it could be some words that kind of like, you know how a person can be kind of right and then they kind of wrong. And then you want to agree, but it's something that make you say, nah, I can't agree fully because I don't want you to think about that, what you said. Right. You know, and I don't agree with that.
Right. I agree.
You see partially. What I mean? Yeah, partially, exactly. So we take accountability,
Mm-hmm.
to say, hey, I understand you. I see the scenario. If I'm taking you wrong, this is another way. If I'm taking you the wrong way, bud, my bad. I see it like this, and I just want to see if you can understand. My bad. I see it like this, and I just want to see if you can understand me. Can I talk? Because I understand you clearly, but I think I just disagree. Can I disagree? Just
Right.
ask a question. Can I disagree? Well, I disagree. I just
Why you
think
want
it's
to
this. What
disagree?
you think about that?
Why? It's like no.
You know, well, I get on the boat. My name is Noah. And God told me to build a boat. And I build the boat. You see, you just peacefully tell them the truth,
Mm-hmm.
slowly but surely, and then it'll keep your blood pressure down.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so don't forget, this is mental health. This is
Yep.
mental health too. So it'll keep your blood pressure down. It'll keep your eyeballs in your head.
Mm.
It'll keep your heart from about to have a heart attack, and it'll keep all this big big bad wolf
Yeah.
intimidated type atmosphere. Because that's what happens, especially with, I hate to say this, women, especially with women.
Oh, here go 500
And
people now.
yes, I know.
500
Yeah,
views
let me.
coming.
Oh, y'all women. Here we go.
What?
Y'all women, y'all just talk too
Right,
much.
that's how
Y'all
we about to get about
women.
500 views here. Then I'll be like, now that you're in here, positive energy. I love you and I love you all. We never finished that. We never finished saying what we say. We said we love you, women. You women, we love you. Especially my black women.
Yeah,
I love you.
and I love all women, because
I love
all
them all
women
too, man.
come
I love all
together.
people,
We're,
man.
we're, we're more we're more powerful, together
Yeah.
like that. But a woman, look on some of these TikToks. Some of these women, they'll get so aggressive with you, so aggressive, and they'll get so direct, and they'll get so different, and then they're already out of order because you're a man. And then now
Mm-hmm.
you hear someone sound like they're the only person that can yell at me is my mother. But here they go, and they'll tell you all these things about you, and as a man, you're this, you're that. You think like this, you're little, you're less than, you're under me, you're beneath, and they speak inferior words. And that's the best
Mm-hmm.
practice, you know, is to listen to a woman. Because don't
Mm-hmm.
forget, the woman is the first teacher. Okay, she teaches the child, and
Mm-hmm.
you learn from your mother. People say, "Why you treating the way you like?" I want to say, "Why you treating the way you treat?" Because I learned her, and from her guidance, and she taught me what to look for. She taught me how to behave when an attitude pops up. When distracting situations come up, when disagreements come about. And you and I, when me and you, hey, we got the extra venom because we don't want to get sad to put our hands on a woman. You start fagging, you
I think your
end up
stuff
putting
lagging
yourself
real
through
bad
the
right now. It's
you
kind
can
of
put
lagging.
your hold on, these my earphones, let me take these things out.
No, your whole thing lagging and stuff. You might have to just
Up here
you
at the
probably got to
job,
place it a weird area.
sometimes I don't want people to hear me. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I hear you.
Hold up, is this thing still on?
Yeah, I was hearing you clear. It was lagging. The whole thing was lagging. You good now though? I think it was. I think whatever you got your phone placed at. All right, CD.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my blue. Yeah. So when getting ready to come like glasses on me. Yeah. So yeah, sometimes, man, we got to make sure that we have the same logic, every time that we deal with somebody, you know, and don't ever forget this. And we talked about this last time when I was on your live last week. Your
Mm-hmm.
situations changes your circumstances, and your circumstances changes your situations. And
Mm-hmm.
when you have that failure of communication, and remember this, it's only a failure of communication. It's only a argument or a disagreement or somebody that's unacknowledgeable. You know, it's only a failure to communicate. That means somebody doesn't quite get the picture. You know, you know how when we was in school, when we used to write about the subject, and then the teacher say, "Okay, I want to make sure you know about the subject," and we'd be like, "Well, okay, so I want you to write a paragraph, and then I want you to break the paragraph down, and then we go A, B, and C." So now she know that we specifically know what we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And see, sometimes people get off the topic, and they just don't understand how to get in line. So when that rah rah
The
comes,
rah rah.
that back and forth mentality, only thing you gotta do is stay in peace and keep your mind sharp and just be available. You know, to just be like, hey, even I could be wrong, but I see we have a disagreement and we don't want it to get this way. You got to continue to speak peace, you know,
Yep.
because that's the only way. And I know sometimes, you know, and like I say, 9 times out of 10, you know, don't be talking to a woman. You know, you talk to a woman, it's different from a man. You got to talk to a man or a woman, no matter what. Because if you're talking to a woman, she's telling you exactly what to do. If you can't teach someone to understand, you truly, yeah, yeah,
Do you
yeah,
truly understand the topic?
exactly. You
Mm.
know, exactly. If you can't teach someone where where they understand, she said, where they understand, do you truly understand the topic? Yeah,
Oh, I get
yeah,
you.
I,
Yeah.
I, I
So.
kind of understand. You understand what she's saying?
Yeah. 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 So she's saying, you talking about? I
Yeah,
think
she
she's talking
just
about the
saying when
pointer
I was
where
talking
they
about that
understand that.
paragraph,
Do you truly
you know,
understand the topic? That means they really
understanding the
just talking to
topic
talk.
of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me? The heck?
Hold up, let me make.
The heck? Oh, I hear myself on the thing.
Hold up, let me make.
The heck? Oh, I hear
Bluetooth they keep turning on.
Oh, that's what it was.
Yeah, yeah. Ain't I tell you, I'm finna
No,
argue
that's
with
what.
this.
So
Hey,
you was talking all the way
stop.
back there. That's why you was talking, and the Bluetooth was on.
Yeah, the Bluetooth is
Yeah.
on. Y'all didn't hear me.
Yeah, we heard you though. It was just you was far back though. We was hearing you, but we thought you was talking far back. That's funny.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, that's crazy.
What
That's
she
crazy.
say? So she was talking about. So I guess she's saying if you can't, they can't tell them where they understand it. That mean that they truly really understand the topic anyway. So that's what she was saying. So that mean that they really just speaking that rah rah because they just rebuttal into something that they really don't understand. That's what it be majority of the time. Some people just
Yeah,
scared to admit that they don't understand. They don't want to say that. That be that ego stuff. Like, man, they just want to say what they feel like they know and all that stuff. But like, no, they don't have nothing to do with the topic.
you know, and sometimes, man, you can't force it. You know, I deal with people on my first job. I'm in the medical field.
Hmm.
You know, and like I said, I got like 30 years experience. And my first job, I deal with a lot of doctors and nurses, and you know, patients and people, and all types of stuff. And all those strong willed people, and they all have different opinions. And what I do controls with
Hmm.
the heat and air. So I'm the guy. I cover like probably what 1, 2, 3, about 9 hospitals. You know, I got my own office and stuff like that. Work off my computers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. But still, I gotta go and deal with these people. And sometimes
Hmm.
these people say, "Hey, I want this fix, or I want an answer," and it be doctors and nurses and hospital officials, and I got to develop kindness. I got to develop, transform my mind. Why? Because my job is on the line. You know, my
Hmm.
personality is on the line. Everything is on the line. Everything. So what I got to do? I got to humble myself.
Yep.
I got to humble myself. And then and look, in fact, if they disagree, I'll sit down and listen. And guess what? Why they saying what they saying? I'll be like, yeah, okay, yeah, exactly, yeah, you're right. And then I say, hey, you know what, Miss? Let me tell you this, Doctor. Um, I know exactly what you mean. You know, now I got a phone call on my other phone. Ain't that
I'm
something?
like, you got a train, watch out.
Hello, 1 second. I'm on the line with one of my homies. I'll call you back. Okay, you got a train reaction.
You're
Yeah.
right. He said, eh.
So sometimes, their approach is very aggressive. And I'm 6'4", 265. And I
She
got
gave you a
people
ticket
five
to the
foot.
train real quick.
Yeah.
She gave you a ticket.
Yeah. So I got to talk to people 5 foot tall. That's basically putting their finger in my face with their words.
Right.
So I got to look down on people and be like, yes, ma'am. Yes, sir. And I got to let them know that, hey, I'm not stupid either. I understand what you're saying to me. I have intellect and I have something to say to you too, but I'm going to let you talk first because I know my job and I'll explain to you what I could do for you to help you. But are you going to listen to me? And they don't
Mm-hmm.
have a choice to say yes. You feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
that's the way you handle people. You got to humble yourself too. I probably named about 5 different things that you can do to help
Yeah.
manage this type of
Yeah.
situation. And I think a lot of brothers and sisters need to learn anger management skills because that's what it is. It's anger management,
Yep.
you know. So
She said
yeah,
he went for the 5 footer. She taking her ticket back. Well, at the end of the day, like I saw, I was about to mention before, that's none of this stuff, and I'm gonna add that at the end. I know none of this stuff is easy. I'm gonna put it that way. I think everybody should be aware of that. Like we not saying it like it's easy and stuff. It's just y'all to be aware of what we talking about, because yeah, it do take time. You got to make a habit out of it. A lot of times you gotta uh bite the bullet or whatever you want to call it. Gotta eat your turn it to that frog real quick or whatever, that toad or whatever, and then it's just take a process though. But this stuff what we saying it's not easy though. It's just like walk away, because especially if you lived all your life sitting there always got to be the tough one, and you ain't gonna talk to me like that and all that stuff or whatever until something bad, and that's when you get humbled again. But it's better to be humble early, you know what I'm saying, if you can, you know what I'm saying. You got to try hard at that, man, because it's dangerous. That stuff is dangerous.
okay, I can hear you now.
Uh
Okay,
oh, baby, Todd is in the building.
anger is a surface level emotion. Something to the surface. Okay, anger is the easiest emotional. Okay, the fact people can't dig deeper is sad. Yeah,
Can you hear? You can hear?
yeah.
Okay,
I
let me
can
make
hear
sure.
both
Your
of
joke
y'all.
sounded kind of
Can you
low.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, yep, yep. It
Man,
just
what the
sounded
heck
kind
is
of
going
low.
on with this thing?
I think because he was reading the comments. So he was like
What's
reading
the
it to
deal,
himself.
meddling in?
Now, Cool Rod, I was on your side till you said 5 foot. I was like, okay, now wait a second. I was flowing with you. And then you said 5 foot. I was like, wait a second. I feel attacked.
Uh-oh.
I'm just kidding. But no, it's true. It's true. People under 5 feet, we get a bad rap. We get a bad rap. You know, we got short tempers because, that's the joke.
You said what they said, the short complex.
Yep, shortcut. But it's true. That all my life I had to be I had to be overly aggressive
Yeah,
for people to take me seriously. One, of cause how I sound, and two, cause of my height. So either females thought they could punk me,
thank you for the
or
follow.
dudes thought they could like mansplain stuff to me, and I'm like, what? Why'd you say it like that? Like, I'm not slow.
Yeah, I
Because I
feel you
have
on.
been told by my exes, they were like, dating you is like dating a dude. I'm like, damn.
Oh, you got tough around here, huh?
So, I mean, it is what it is, but I've learned mostly because when I got diagnosed, like it's hard for me to like click certain things.
Yeah.
So I love your topics, Kev, because regardless of how hard some of the topics may be for like me to understand, eventually it clicks because the
Oh
people
yeah.
who are speaking can say it in different angles to
Yep.
where people can understand. And that's what I was saying. I was like, if someone can't teach you to where you understand it, regardless of like, your comprehension skills or whatever, then they can't really teach.
Mhm.
And that's one thing I learned, especially at my job. Like I can talk about financial education all day, but if I can't let it be understood to where you get it, I can't
Yeah.
teach you. And I
Yeah.
don't know it
So
well enough.
look, I'm gonna put it this way. I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. It's just you might not be that person to teach them or something like that. Because you might have your own way of teaching it. Everybody literally had their own way. Because I could be saying something a certain way, somebody don't understand me. I could do it to my best of my ability. But if somebody else got a better way of interpret it or put it in a different way and say the exact same thing as me or something like that, they just gotta hear from that person. Or sometimes, like I said, sometimes some people got a block on certain people. Like if you look like this, they gonna stop hearing what you're saying, even if you're saying what is right and all that stuff. So it's like what you're doing is still right. It's just sometimes they need another person to say the same thing. So I wouldn't say that is not bad teaching. It's just they not that's you not the person that's for them or something like that. Especially
That's
if
true
you
too.
got good intentions behind it.
That's true too. Especially when older people, well well in my experience, I've always had issues with older black women in the workplace, and
Yeah.
it's always like a fight. And I'm like, bro, why are you so upset? Like, what did I do to you? Like, I didn't do anything to you. And I never got it until I got older. And I was like, so it's really a you issue, not me issue. It's a you issue.
Yeah.
And then I'll
Yeah.
try to explain. So they were like, oh my God, you're actually smart. I'm like, because I got a
You're
fat ass,
actually
I can't
smart.
be smart. Like, I got a fat ass, I can't be smart. Is
Or
that what it is?
older be he go he about to start
But
some stuff.
yeah, let me say something about the older. Let me say something about the older people because that's a big thing. You know, like me, is my older people are like in their 60s and 70s, and sometimes knowledge come from a different background, a different area of life. You know, civil rights and all that stuff, and which black or which person, we're not going to say a color, but we're going to say which person is here with us communicating, because we have this difference of the
Right, they do,
age and we
King.
have this difference of knowledge because the communication change, the knowledge increase from decade to decade. So, you could be talking to somebody with a slave mentality, you know,
Yeah.
and you could be talking to someone that's a grandparent, you know, and you can talk to someone that's motherly, or you can talk to someone that's not quite that educated, and they know they're seeing things a certain way. So sometimes you're not inferior, but you just know that it's different. So these are all the personalities that you got to have. You got to have the ability to understand who you're talking to and what year was they born. You got to look at all this stuff with your eyesight, and that's why you got to be humble. You got to be
Yep.
peaceful. And you got to make sure that you exercise that ability to be able to communicate. Everything
Yeah,
doesn't
Oh,
for
have to be an
sure.
argument.
For
oh
sure.
yeah.
I stopped cussing them out. I stopped cussing them out. I know because I did one. It was an older guy that worked at Sonic. He was a kitchen crew member. First of all, he hit on me, and I was like, I'm not interested. Like, you're older than my dad. No offense, but yeah, I'm good. And he called me, he called me a harlot or some old school term. And I was like, and I cussed him out. I was like, I know because you're older, that's like you calling me a bitch in your age, and I don't appreciate that. I really don't. Like, I understand what that means,
Ooh,
and
good
you shouldn't
looks,
feel that way.
Ricardo in the building. Good
But
looks, man.
I did
Appreciate you,
learn
Rico.
after I started to get to know the older generation. I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Like, all right. But it was him and then another lady I worked with, and I was like, just because you're older, don't mean I can't cuss you out. I want you to know that. Like,
What's
respect
up?
goes
What's
out
up,
the
bro?
window when you disrespect me.
Good looks
And
too on King too. Yeah.
but is I've learned, especially on TikTok, arguing with people is pointless. Especially when most people
Yeah.
don't want to learn from different point of views or actually want. Especially because I know now people get into arguments for views, and I guess money. So it's like,
It's like not good looks, man.
but I can appreciate the hosts who actually hold conversations and can respect different viewpoints and can walk away with agree to disagree mentality.
Thanks, man. Thanks. Thank you. But I was about to. Oh, y'all made me think
Exactly. I
about that though.
appreciate that.
And it's people that is like that with that. It's even younger. So the people that I feel like that stick with that little the slave mentality and stuff. I believe them the people that just be that either be like they lazy or they like being spoiled or something like that. So it's like the reason why I say that is because it's like if stuff don't go the way they wanted to go and stuff, they always want to say, "Nah, that's because these people holding me back and all this." You know, man, hold up. I don't know where that came from, but it's just that is the people. Like I noticed that stuff. It's like younger people that's still doing that to this day. It's people on this app that's doing it. But I'm like, just because you don't want to put in that extra work and all that stuff, you know, you don't have to. You got to put the blame on somebody else because you lazy. Like that just be crazy. Like all you got to do is put in extra work. We might not get it easier. It's other people that don't get it easy. All of us don't do it. It ain't just a color our skin. It ain't none of that stuff. It's a lot of people that got to actually put in work or put in more work to get to where they got to get to. So we got to stop doing that
Exactly.
blaming stuff and you know
That
you will never
victim
get nowhere. But they
mentality.
want stuff to go in their lap because they got that the past story to use that to cover up their laziness. I'm like, oh, that's just crazy.
Ain't nobody more racist than an old black man. Yeah, that's my grandpa.
Okay. And see that right there that's a reverse psychology. And this guy is saying that mostly older black men, and that's really an insult, because he shouldn't say stuff like that. We're trying to grow away from stuff like that type of communication. And here we go again. You know, you gotta not be aggressive with an aggressive comment, because what they're saying to me is that think about it. Now, your grandfather, old black men, I want you to think about something, okay? Think about something. 70 years old, 80 years old, and look what they went through. And then this guy just called them a racist, okay? Look what your grandparents went through. And this guy
Yeah, he is
just
joking. That's
called them a racist, okay? So you got to look at that. And, Chris Rock ain't got nothing to do, you know, I mean that's I just don't like that comment. But this is where we got this how we learn how to develop the skills of how to exercise. And you see how he can freely, he don't have to get blocked or anything. He can freely say what he got to say. But I disagree. I disagree with what he said because he said more
yeah, he
than
just joking. No, that's
racist.
King, man. That's one of my mans. He just joking.
Oh, that's your boy. Okay,
Yeah,
you know,
I'm surprised you never been on one of his room. Yeah, he be doing like he talk about business and stuff. He do a lot of business type thing, whatever. You probably seen it before. I'm pretty sure because his page be popping. He just
yeah,
joking.
yeah, yeah. Okay, he's just joking.
Yeah, he just
He get ready
joking,
to tear me up now. King, hey King, look, no matter what color you are, it's still we talking about them words. But it's a joke. But look, that's something to learn from right there. That's
man.
something to learn from because you see how fast I looked at that, and look, everything we say isn't always, everybody can't understand what you say. You know,
Mhm.
everybody can't understand, what you say. And hey, King, hey, bro, I understand you. Forgive me.
No,
You know,
you look like him. I think you might have seen him before. You look like him though. I don't know if you yeah, he cool. He know you joking though too. He know that. But that was funny. We just talked about that. You said, there you go. But that's human, man. Walking and being a human, man. Sometimes we get tested.
yeah.
Sometimes.
And now you see, I'm gonna tell you something. What we learned through the EEOC that racism and discrimination doesn't have a color.
hmm
And some us as black folks, we think we can say anything, and then another person can't. You see what I mean? So, and that's how we look at it. And you got to look at it that way, and that's when you're calling yourself being fair, and you got to call it the way it is. But I understand it's a joke. So King, I ain't getting on you, man. Hey, hey, he the king, he the king. I just had to show my face on that one, bro.
But yeah, I just wish a lot of us just get out that mentality and stuff. Cause I be seeing like the youngest of the youngest. I'm like, and especially the new babies. I'm like, come on, man, what do you know about slavery, bro? Quit it. Like that's crazy. If you don't get your young buck self up and start working, man, and grind and stuff, and stop being spoiled and stuff. Everything ain't
Yeah,
gotta be blamed on you. Got stuff you can do right now that's in your control. You gotta stop using all this because stuff don't go the way you want it to go and blame it on something else. Like, dude, you would never grow on that. Like, I'm like, if it was really that serious, we wouldn't have no celebrities out here. We wouldn't have people. All this stuff, they don't be looking at that. That just be anything to put the blame off them from being lazy and not getting that getting a silver spoon or get it just the easy way. That just be quit the excuses, man.
yeah. And from like I say, from a woman's point of view, and what's her name? Baby, baby,
Baby Toddy.
baby, baby Toddy.
I call her Archangel.
Baby
Stop it,
Toddy, I
Kev.
tell you.
Stop it. You shut your mouth.
See, that's what I'm talking about right there, Kev. They talk to you like you're a little kid. Yeah, how you gonna deal with that? If you can learn to talk, if you can learn to speak to a woman when she get in that tone, I promise you, you can stay in a marriage.
What?
You got to,
Make
you
her
got to
purr
make
like
them,
a kitten like that.
you got to make them laugh. You got to make them feel like like it's funny. It's a joke. But guess what? I'm gonna put humor in it too. You know, and that's the best way to respond towards that. You know,
Yeah.
a direct
Oh no!
order. Like,
If it was some serious stuff with a chick, I don't think I'd be around that. Alright, I'm done with that stuff. Like I can't do that no
but you
more. Like I can't be that. That's crazy. Nah, I can't do that.
you get those direct orders. Them direct orders like, you ain't going nowhere. No,
Who you gonna
you're gonna
just?
see. But see, really, they don't mean to be controlling at times. You got to take the good with the bad, and you got to know how to handle what sounds like it's bad. And you really think about it, it's really not all that bad. But as long as we
Yeah,
know it's not something that's really controlling and
yeah.
something that's demanding for me to do that's against my will,
Mm-hmm.
you know, stuff like that. But you got to play around with women, man. They're emotional, and some women aren't emotional. We say that all women are emotional, but all women aren't emotional.
Yeah.
Some women just straight up and slap face and high five, pop you on the butt. You know what I'm saying? And
Whoa.
she's still a dime. I'm for real. Yeah, you got a whole lot of strong-minded women out here. She can talk with the best. She pay her bills. She got her own. You remember that song Neo May? I love a woman that got her own. Yeah, and those kind of women, those women are very aggressive and they're
I love
very,
her 'cause
very
she
down
got
to
her
earth.
own. I know what you're talking about. I just thought about it. She don't need
Exactly.
mine. Just talking about that. Is that the Independent Part Two? Yeah,
Yeah,
Independent Part
yeah,
Two.
the independent. Yeah, that's my CD. I still got that
Yeah.
CD.
She don't need mine, just to mine alone. They
I
had
still
all
got
them in their
his.
bag that year, man. Man, you couldn't tell them nothing after that. They done turned it to something else. Who is you, scrub? Can
Uh-oh.
I say that word? I don't know.
Yes, scrub.
I don't know. I'm scared. I'm talking about this stuff we put on at the doctor. TikTok. Sorry.
I
What's the
mean,
deal? Lovely in the building.
What's up? It's been a minute.
It's been a minute. Where you
I
been?
just wanted to tap in because I only got about an hour before I head home. And you know what
Hmm.
happens when I get in the
I'm waiting
car?
for King to get done taking his bubble bath so he can come up in the
Yeah.
block.
No, I
yeah,
took
bubble
some time
bath
out to
sounds
kind of
nice.
regroup and have my own little accountability session for about two
Okay,
weeks.
that sounds about right. You know I like to hear
So,
that.
yeah, I kind of
Uh-oh.
went into kind of meditation mode and my business has been getting busy. So I had to get back focused.
Okay.
But I want to tap into what King said. And he really this is really what happens is we really deal with everybody's trauma before we really ever get to know them. So a lot of times when you're met with confrontation, you're dealing with something that is like deep within inside somebody, and
That she said.
you're not going to be able to get to that root. Only they can through accountability. They got to look at themselves first before you're even going to know who the fuck they are.
Exactly.
So I wanted to tap into that because he was all right there.
Yeah, that's exactly what that is for real. Yeah, that's why I said I ain't got patience for that either, man. I ain't got time for that stuff. You ain't coming ready, then I'm not no psychologist or no, I ain't doing all that stuff, man. You got time, you grown just like me, you know what I'm saying? If you trying to be my friend or you trying to be my girl or something like that, I ain't got time to sit here and coach you and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? I could do it in a little assistance maybe because all of us fall short every now and then, but if I got to do that most of my time to where it's interfering with my life and all that stuff, I'm not about to do that because like I said, I got my own stuff I'm working on daily. You know what I'm saying? I'm working on my stuff daily because I want to stay. I want to be a better version of myself every day. I want to be always, like I said, I always want to be better than my yesterday. I always, you know what I'm saying? I try to be good now. You know what I'm saying? If I fail, I gotta do better. Like I said, I gotta keep doing better and stuff. But I can't do that if another person not even really trying for real. They just want to keep on, you know, feeling this sorrow mode and not trying to move forward and please come pick me up, scrape me up with a spatula, please. And you know what I'm saying? All this that junk is crazy. I ain't got nobody got time for that. You human just like me. You know what I'm saying? All of us had our own experiences, but we found a way to get out of it.
Well, I
Everybody don't
always
need
say,
assistance to get out of situations and stuff.
it's not my job to fight your demons.
Yeah,
I'm already
exactly.
fighting my own.
And then if you don't do it, they're like, "Oh, you're never there for me," or
Yeah.
"Would you never look out for me?" Like, dude, what the heck? Like, how much more you? As many
No,
times I
they
done
ain't
helped
there
you,
for
now I'm not there for you.
themselves.
Exactly.
They
You
ain't
gotta
there
come
for
back and be
themselves.
like, you're not even there for yourself, so how am I supposed to be there for you?
Yeah,
Thank you.
it's my responsibility to
Bingo.
make sure you're okay.
All right, exactly. And they
And
swear
look,
that you're not doing enough for them.
we talking about trauma, okay? Trauma brings hurt, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Trauma brings separation. Trauma is divided, and
Yep.
trauma is pain.
Yep.
So other people with trauma, and I think King meant that people have problems and situations,
Yep.
and they haven't yet taken care of their situations yet. They haven't
Mm-hmm.
mentally figured out the problem before they go get in a relationship and bring their baggage. Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're not perfect. We all make mistakes and we all move too fast at times.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we will get caught up, in a situation. But this is when you have the ability. This is when your knowledge and your wisdom come in hand.
Yep.
Is whenever you have the ability to talk it out and say, hey, you know what? I see now she's a good friend. Exactly. And yeah, and you'll begin, yeah, she's a close friend. You'll begin to see the attitudes, you'll begin to see the personality conflicts, you'll
What's on the
begin to
problem?
see the underminement and the overthinking. You'll begin to see those personalities. Now, if she's someone that you think that you can get across to, then you give a piece of your time and say, hey, let me see if I can educate you or help you in this and lead you in this direction. If I can help you, if you listen, then that'll be fine. But if you realize that she doesn't listen and she's
Good
continued to
looks.
be in pain, she continued to be in confusement, she continued to argue, continue to do whatever, it could be a he or whatever, and we'll be talking about people, not just a woman. And
Good word. Thank
then that's when you got to have the ability to say, well, this is not my friend. This is not most definitely not my girlfriend, and she's most definitely not my wife. So you don't accountability. You
you.
taking accountability. You got to make sure that you don't step in those shoes.
Yep.
You got to make sure that you say no. You know. So just to tap in on what Lovely said
That's
about
true stuff
what
right there,
King
King, man.
comment.
That'll beautiful, positive, and awaken people. Okay, Shauna talking nice up and quit it for everybody start blushing in the panel and stuff. I even see Baby Toddy back there blushing behind that picture. Good
Oh,
look. I
Shauna,
mean,
I forgot to
what's
come
up,
back to your
Shauna?
show.
Shauna show in the building.
I forgot to come back to Shauna's show the other night. I was in Walmart. She told me to come in. I owe her one. I'm sorry, Shauna. I
What's the deal?
forgot.
Mark in the building.
I'm kind of scared of that. Hey, friend, it's in all caps.
Wait, hold on. That gotta be. I think that's that gotta be OCD and forget that because he said he right there. Wait, no, hold up. Who wait? Somebody told me one person writing caps and the other person. Hold up.
He come back
Look,
like a big dog.
He
He
just
first
wrote
he
in
come in.
caps too.
I'm
when
trying to
people
think. I got
write,
it mixed up. One word right. Oh no, that's Mark. Mark writing all caps. Okay, never mind. Mark writing all caps.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now Mark
Yeah, I
come
think
back.
I'm.
He
No
come back
confrontation
OG.
needed.
Fan.
Yeah, I think OC right regular.
y'all gotta let us know when y'all start sharing accounts because
Yeah,
it,
it's so
it gets
hard to keep up.
confusing.
Good memory. Yes, man. That junk is man.
What is Mark talking about?
Confrontational people, man. Like
So
I
think
said,
about
the
it.
way I adjusted so, and I realized like I'm been doing better and stuff, and I'm not trying to be so quick to snap. People be you remember people just be like 0 to 100 when that song came. Oh my, they didn't even know what they was doing. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? Anything that make anybody sound like they tough, like I don't care. You mess with me, I go 0 to 100 and stuff. Like what is that to brag about? Like what's sweet about that? That mean because you weak. That mean you weak. That mean you somebody can make you mad. Like people be thinking that's what make them tough. No, that makes you weak. At the end of the day, if anybody can mess with your emotions that easy, you get that
Hmm.
emotional. You know what I'm saying? Even if I say that to a person, you're making me emotional for saying emotional or something like, you know what I'm saying? But that y'all make you weak. You're not the tough person because you go to 0 to 100.
You're
That y'all
basically, when
crazy.
you say that, you're basically admitting this that other people can control your emotions.
Exactly. And they don't realize that. People don't realize that because people are so used to growing off of thinking you got to be the toughest of them all and you got to be uh that standout person. You don't want to mess with me type person and all that stuff. Like, dude, you're nothing. You know what I'm saying? You ain't
Hmm.
sweet. You ain't. I don't know you. I don't know who you think. That'd be crazy.
See,
And I'm
this
All
is
not
why
gonna.
love.
my
It's
friends
all
say
love.
I'm not
What's
allowed
the
to
deal?
argue
Zeus is
anymore.
in the building.
What did you
My
say,
Detroit
Toddy?
brother in the building,
I
man.
said, this is why my friends say I can't argue with people no more because when people used to say that to me, I'd be like, so I'm gonna write you a ticket because you're going too fast. Okay. And they
I'm
were
a
like,
use
bro,
that
you
one.
gotta stop antagonizing people. I'm like, well, they make it easy.
What's the deal? Mark is in the yeah. He got to show his face real quick. You already know because next minute you see OC pop up like.
Yep. Yep. You already know.
For real.
Hey, but just to add to what you were saying real quick, and hey panel, hey everybody, how y'all doing?
What's the deal?
Hey,
What's the
You ever hear people say like it's the quiet people that you need to worry about? The
yeah?
loud
Yep.
Hmm.
ones aren't the ones that you need to really focus on because they just really trying to get attention. So don't nothing really happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
mm-hmm.
saying? Because me myself, I was a bully beater when I was in school and stuff, and I took pride in it because I
Mm,
cannot stand a bully. That's one thing
Hmm.
I do not like. Somebody that pick on someone that, for one, doesn't want to fight or doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want confrontation and things like that. Because me, I'm very confrontational, but I'm only
mm,
confrontational with those who want confrontation, though. See, there's a
mm-hmm.
Right.
difference.
Your
Like
intention
I'm
and
not going to go look for a problem, but at the same time, I'm not going to back away from one either.
right. It was
I was
your
just talking about
intentions
you
are
earlier,
different.
man.
What I done did, what I done did.
I was talking
Oh,
about that about people not avoiding confrontation. You just, I like how you started with these. I'm not backing up, you know what I'm saying. But what I was,
No,
what I
I
was
like
actually
how you
preaching
said it
earlier,
because
huh?
I always say, angels have a defense too. Like you have to confront at some times.
Yeah,
There are
at a
some
certain extent, but
things that
that's
you have
that's
to.
yeah,
I
and
like
that's
that,
what I
Lovely.
was mentioning earlier, huh?
I'm gonna use that. But Lovely said, "Angels has a defense too."
Oh
I
yeah, most
like that.
definitely. I think everybody have these, but that's like that would be for like survival type situation.
Hmm.
I assume because I don't think it'd be out for your anger or your pride or something like that. I don't think
No, I
it'd be a
don't.
defense and that. Think about it. It's called defense. It ain't called that's being offense if you sit there going reacting off your anger or something like that. That's just like okay. It's even like when you I'm trying to say the word because on TikTok when you bring out the pew pew or something, I did it because this or whatever. But if you got a sorry reason, if it ain't defensive, and you use it because somebody cut you off or something like that off of anger, you're going to jail. You're going to
Right.
Mm-hmm.
jail now. You know what
See,
I'm
but
saying? It's
they
a
have to
wrap.
be, they have to pose a threat. See, a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
people do not pose a threat, so there is no reason to take it from 0 to 100.
Yeah.
Some people you might just need to go to 5. Let them
But
know I'm not playing. Chill out.
I got you. It's like setting standards type situation. I think I get you then,
Right,
right?
Mm-hmm.
right,
Okay, I got you. Yeah, I
right.
got you. I feel
But
you.
it ain't even got to be something that is outspoken because it's something at the same time we can agree to disagree, right?
Yeah.
But a
Yep.
lot of people see that disagreement as disrespect, so that takes things to a whole nother level, and then
Right.
that takes things to a whole nother level, right? But if
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm coming at you with good intentions, I'm not trying to harm or be facetious against you.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a different stride in the way that I'm coming at you, or I'm talking to you, or I'm trying
Mm-hmm.
to talk to you, not at you. And I guess the big thing, especially with TikTok, a lot of people think that this is confrontation. This is not confrontation. Like you see people get worked up on this app from a
Whew.
mere conversation and people having a difference of opinion. And this is why you will see me be miles on a whole bunch of people play on pages because I try to take the emotion, moving any emotions out of it. Not that we're not going to be emotional people, but
Yeah.
you don't have to move within your emotions,
Yep.
right? Because that's when you start
Right.
doing things that's
Emotional
not in
control.
your character. They can be like, "Oh man, I never thought that he would
Mm-hmm.
do that," but he wasn't even moving within himself, his own bounds, his or her own bounds. You get what I'm saying? But my bad, I
Mm-hmm.
ain't mean to try to take over your live, bro.
No,
I'll
I
let
was
y'all get
listening.
back to it.
It's the time for the panel to talk. I
No,
did
you're
my
talking
talking
on the
on
right
earlier.
stuff.
Y'all probably missed it though, but I was talking. I'm letting everybody talk.
But let me say this right
Oh yeah.
here. Like we said earlier, Kev, how you control yourself and you gotta have the proper mannerisms. And I say that people, we gotta teach ourselves not to be so prideful, not to just
Yes.
think that you're the king and your opinion is the best and it's the only way. And that's when people get confrontational right there,
Mm-hmm.
is when they think that their word is gold. So the deal is when I'm out and about, I'm very much under control. I'm under control far way better than, watch this, when I'm at home. Now if you bring that to my home, now I'll be me, but guess what, it's going to be a little bit more direct orders, like, hey, specifically, you're not going to do this, and you're in my home. See, it depends on where you are,
Mm-hmm.
so you got to think
Mm-hmm.
about that type of drama. So when I'm at home and if somebody come at my house and come on my property with all this old confused knowledge and then think they're going to come in and take over or do whatever, it's like direct right back and then cut off, you know. But when I'm out in public, it's more of a, I'll walk in peace, you know, and I'll understand exactly what you're saying. And, I don't feel threatened. I can control my home way quicker than I could outside my home.
Yeah.
So we got to think about that because some people are at home arguing and fussing, and they're not going to come in the comments. And you know what? You never know. They may come in the comments. They may even come up. And this is what this is for. It's to talk to people that have these arguments at home. And I said this just for this reason. And they confrontational to themselves, husband and wives, girlfriends and boyfriends. And they go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Who's in control? And it's all about a lack of respect, you know, and they just gotta learn how to respect each other, man. And that pride. Now, hey, that pride is in everybody.
Man.
Pride is in everybody. It depends
You
on
know
how
what,
much
Cool
pride
Rod?
you have.
I was on this live. It was a
Yes,
couple
ma'am.
weeks ago before I took my little break. And me and Kev were talking about ego and talking about pride. And I've
That's
literally created an acronym: EGO, emotionally generated opinion. That's really where
Wow.
it's like we're opinionating, but our emotions are
Yeah.
so involved in our ego. We're not backing down with our pride. I mean, pride is necessary to a certain extent, but you
it's just
really pointed
depending on how
out
you use it.
some people will only confront people in a certain environment. Like be all hard, like, at go to school and, put on a front. But at home, they're like, we call it code switching. Like, or putting on a mask. And it's just like,
Exactly.
Right.
I kind of like what Mark
That's
said.
right.
I can see Mark being like, nope, I'm the same person all the time, every time. I'm going to
Oh
confront you if I
no,
need to
no,
or not.
I can't say that because like the way I interact with my family and the people that's close to me and the way I interact on TikTok is different. And
It
it
is. You
is a
have to
part of
code switch.
Thank you.
it is a
Thank
problem
you.
with my pride. It is a problem with my ego because I actually care for these people.
Exactly.
I actually
You got
love these people
it.
for who they are. You know what I'm saying? I
Mm-hmm.
don't just respect them because they are another person on a screen. I respect them
Right.
because they're actually in my life. So I would have to admit that yeah, I do code switch, especially when it comes to my family. And
Yeah.
I
Mm-hmm. Oh
believe
yeah,
Exactly.
man.
it was an interview that somebody was having. I think she was having it with Mr. James Baldwin. It was a light skinned lady, and she was saying how you go to work and you will pretend to be happy, and then you will come home and why can't you just pretend with me? But you'll come home and raise hell and raise Cain, and
Mm.
but you will be fake when you go out into the world. But then you'll come home and this is really you. And a lot of times we will lash out to our families and the ones that we love, even though they aren't the ones that deserve it. So I can say that that's to my fault
Mm-hmm.
for me as a man and the person that I am, because sometimes I'll find myself wanting to be that one that wants to bicker, done woke up on the wrong side of the bed and didn't
Mm-hmm.
like something. And she can be
Mm-hmm.
trying her hardest. My lady, she can be trying her hardest. And I can see that. But me
Mm.
being in my ways, I'll
That's
sit up there and still try to nitpick. And then I'll have to come back and apologize later.
ooh.
And now it's done
Mm-hmm.
got to the point where she'll say,
That
you
boy
know what?
said.
Why you
Mm.
apologizing now? You knew what you was doing, but because that's what you wanted to do, you
Mm.
kept doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
that's a
sometimes
major
we
problem,
we
especially with
create
me.
we create bad habits, in response to how we respond to situations, and sometimes our emotions come along with them.
Yeah, them
Oh
habits,
yeah,
them all habits. Everything we
Exactly.
do and it is built up different habits and stuff. How we react to things, how we all that stuff
Mm-hmm.
is habits.
most definitely, most definitely.
And just because we're on TikTok and we're talking about it, and this is where we got to be real at. And I like what Mark said because I said the same thing, and I'm just happy to hear somebody else real too because
Hmm.
you're gonna protect home different than you would outside your home.
Mm-hmm.
And guess what? We all have weakness and we all have things to work on. And if we think like that, when we reach a situation, because don't forget, your situation changes your circumstances, and your circumstances changes your situations. You don't know how it's going to become, and you're unfamiliar because it's the now. I always say you're getting it raw, and when you get it raw, how are you going to take it? How you
Right.
going to how are you going to process it? How are you going to relate that message to your brain, into your heart, and then come out of your mouth? Who are you? And sometimes we fall short.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we don't always fall short. It's all about, but the thing is, what's the difference between a lot of us is we're aware of it. It's all about being aware of it because we all gonna fall short. More every day we live in, it's gonna be a test. You know what I'm saying? There's no way we
Hey,
can be
Kev.
perfect and stuff. We gonna fail sometimes. It's that's just part of life. But it's all about being aware of it and try to correct it as soon as possible. You know what I'm saying? It's not make
Mm-hmm.
no excuse behind it either. No matter how it is. You know what I'm saying? I had to do this
Can I
because
give
this.
you an
No.
outlook
Or
on
Just
that
you know
though?
blame.
you was wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Take care of that so you don't have to do it again. You know what I'm saying? But that's the
Hey,
difference. Some people use that excuse and keep going along with it and and I told him off. I better, you know what I'm saying? No, you ain't supposed to feel good about that. You know what I'm saying? You supposed to,
Right.
Mm.
it's all
hey,
crazy.
can I give you an outlook? Can I give you an outlook on that?
Hmm.
There's two ways you can take a L. It's either going to be a loss or it's going to be a lesson.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people have gotten so comfortable with taking losses that
Mm.
they're okay with it, and they make their imperfections an excuse rather
Mm-hmm.
than
Mm-hmm.
you know how some people it took them to fail in order for them to succeed. That's because they
Mm-hmm.
didn't take that loss; they took that lesson. And it's
Mm.
all
Mm-hmm.
about how we respond to the things that's going to happen in this world and in this life.
Exactly.
You know what
And
I'm
if you
Still
saying?
in
don't
that.
take
And
it
I'm
as a
still in that. Sorry, not talking to that.
if you don't
hey,
take it
it's
as
a
a
lot of
lesson, you're
I
just
got a
gonna
lot
keep
of sayings for
losing.
you, man. I'm sorry, Quinn. What you say?
I said, and if you don't take it as a lesson, you're just going to just expect losses. You're just going to
Right.
always expect to lose.
Mm-hmm.
But see, as long as people see there, I guess that comes with the optimistic mind.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes, even though you lose, long as you got something from it, it is never a loss,
Yep.
Mm.
That's what I
right?
say.
Right. Right.
But to everybody else, and this is where it comes into a point where we'll look at our peers and judge what they think about us before we will
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
take into consideration how we really feel about what just transpired. Did I learn
Mm-hmm.
something from
Mm.
this, or am I going to let this beat me up? That's where it becomes a lesson, or it becomes a learning situation. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of us, when it comes
Mm-hmm.
down to, and I put myself in the same boat because I'm no better than no one. I have no heaven nor hell to put nobody in, so I can't judge you. I can only come from my own perspective, and from my own
Ooh.
perspective, I've seen it from myself how I treat me,
Mm-hmm.
to
Right.
where I could take a
Mm.
loss, but it don't look like a loss because of the way that I bounce back and I take that like, dang, okay, I woke up late because I was drunk last night, so let me not do that.
Word.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But I could have let that fold to me and be like, nah, I'm gonna do whatever I want to. You already know I'm on black people time.
Well, that's just like the people who are like, "Oh, I'm like this because I'm a Leo," or "Yeah,
Ooh,
this is
Mm-hmm.
who?
just
Don't let
how
me
I
talk
am
about that. I'm
because
about to make people
yeah,
mad in here. Don't even
because
talk
Hey,
about that.
hey, I appreciate
I'm
y'all
Actually, I'm
for
gonna
the
make a
saying
points
live
though.
about that because I know I'm gonna get a lot of people mad, but it is what it is. I talk about
Yeah.
that too
Mm-hmm.
much.
I'm
I
very
don't
much
care.
into my spirituality and I'm very much into the, zodiac signs. But if we take everything personality and I'm like, oh, I'm a Leo, so you have to accept that about me. I'm not about to accept that you can't act right in public because of when you were born. Like,
Right,
no.
because
Yeah.
that person didn't experience the exact. It's like DNA. I could have meet somebody who went through similar traumatic experiences than I did, but they were not exactly the same.
Right.
So I responded if they responded. Everybody thinks that, oh, well, we're not competing against how hurt you were or how much more pain you've been in.
Oh yeah, they
Like
call
this is
that
not a
oppression Olympics.
competition. Hmm?
Those are oppression Olympics. Who has been oppressed the most? Or I've hurt more
Right.
than you. You
Oh,
can't you
right,
can't say nothing to
right.
me because
Mm.
I done been hurt.
Oh man, I talked
Hmm.
about that too some days ago. I remember that. Man, that just be crazy. But
Hey,
they
you be
Hmm.
rather
you be
people
hey
rather compare their differences rather than their similarities and stuff. Like, no, I was worse than you. No, you was worse than me. How you gonna
yeah
tell me? You know what I'm saying? Like, where we go? Ain't nobody gonna get nowhere with that. Nobody.
You know
yeah.
what that carries over into is relationships, like marriages. Is like, well,
Yeah.
you did this, well, I did this. Well, that it becomes a
Competitive.
cycle of how people are relational with
That
each
fifty
other.
fifty for
Oh
you
yeah.
right there. That
It
fifty
become
fifty.
it becomes in every part of you. It becomes in every
Hmm.
part of your fiber. It's not even just relationships. You can see how people start dealing with certain people. That's why, if we be honest, a lot of our friends fell off after high school for
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
very same reason.
Yes.
Uh,
We all went to school with hundreds of people
Hmm.
that we no longer talk to, and sometimes if you see them in the store, you won't even recognize
mhm.
Right.
I'm gonna put it this day, man. Y'all just gave me a new topic though. So if y'all
What's
into
that?
them horoscopes and stuff, man,
Oh
them.
y'all don't want
no.
to be in that live, man, because I
Hey,
got
but
I
so
I do.
much
But
stuff I
probably
gotta
won't.
talk about with that
sometimes,
one, man.
hey, but listen, sometimes it be funny though because some people be thinking just because they assigned they about that life, and you really not about that life.
Man,
Let me tell you, I'm gonna rep my sign till the day I die. Leo gang,
man, I can't wait. I'm
Capricorn.
about to. It's gonna be so many people mad at me that day, man.
Hey,
When
see,
I
but
do it, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
say
Hmm.
I
that
feel
it's
like
gonna be
I feel
special.
like I rep my sign though. I'm an Aries, and that's
Hey, King.
listen, that's the god of war. So
Oh my
you know what I'm
God,
saying. If you
I
want
think I
Mark, I
war,
rep
you
almost
better.
myself
liked
pretty
you.
well.
I
Hey, if you
almost
want
liked you,
peace, you
Mark.
better prepare.
I almost liked you. Now I don't think we can be friends anymore.
What'd you say your sign was, Mark?
Aries.
Oh, Aries.
My sign is
Yep.
God's child. That's my sign.
The 13th
I am a
sign.
Capricorn. Capricorn all day.
I'm a cat.
Yeah.
I'm a
See, my
Oh,
Taurus.
lady's
we
a
like
I'm a Cap.
Capricorn,
Capricorns.
and we bump heads all the time because she be capping a lot. But that's neither here nor there.
Kev is the 13 sign.
What's
Isn't there a
that?
13 sign nobody knows
Yeah,
about?
I'm the
God's
13
child.
sign. I'm gonna be that dude. I always say either I'm all the signs or I'm God's child sign. That's one of them. One of them two.
Let me not start sign bashing because I know they're
Yeah,
gonna start
I
coming
learned.
in.
I laugh at them battles. To me,
Me.
They
I
don't
do
know.
like
Look,
the
those
ones that
signs.
are educational though, where they actually break down like the whole where the clouds are or the stars are and all that stuff, where it's
Hey,
educational
but
and talking about
if
going
we
back into
really
you
God's.
actually lovely. I
if we
remember
really get
the.
into it though, oh my bad, bro. Go ahead.
Oh no, you
Go
good?
ahead.
Good.
But if we really get into it, it goes a lot more than just your birthday month. Whenever it comes down to
Hmm.
astrology and all that other
Yeah.
stuff, where it comes down to they're really supposed to be 12 months instead of 13, and going by certain
Hmm.
calendars where they
And
added
start
and
off
took
as
it
8.
away certain things. Right,
Yeah,
right.
like Baby
So
Toddy said, the rise, like where the sun and the moon and the stars align. If you look at it, the stars like really never move.
Yeah, right.
I like the
So
educational
you
stuff.
remember, lovely, you was in that. You was in my room with that when I was talking to that dude that was talking about the star, and I had that recorded. Actually, I posted on my video about that
Oh,
because I
did
was
you?
just like, wow. And
He
remember,
was
I said,
good.
"Who the heck?" Somebody
That
threw a
was
good looks for the
cool.
hey,
snowboard
but
on. I don't know
Man,
what
get
that.
you
I
that
ain't
there
never
was a
seen
surgery.
that in this room
snowboard.
before. But
Hey, but hold. God Almighty.
I was saying, remember, I asked the dude. I was like, so these signs. So basically saying the signs. So I asked him. He's like, well, we don't see God. We don't see this something like that. And then he was like, 'cause I don't even remember this so well because I just got to listen to the video because I'll be listening to all my videos and stuff, and then I just take out different parts and whatever. But he's like, I can't see that. I'm like, so I can see the stars and I can see the sun, so they can make that. I was like, so you saying you can see a human's trait inside these stars then? So I'm like, well, how do you see that? And he's
Test.
like, well, people came up with it and all that stuff. I'm like, so the fact I say, so you only going off that? You trying to tell me I lack knowledge because you got taught by another human? So you trying to tell me,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? You trying to make it sound
Hey,
I don't know nothing because you're
I
going with
learned it
another
from the
human
Lion
say.
King myself. I
The
learned it from the
Lion
Lion
King.
King myself.
Hey, look.
Yeah,
The
that's
funny thing
what they
about it
said in the
is
Lion King.
it is a science, right? But it's what's
Hmm.
called generalized science. The way they got
Hmm.
this information is looking at all the people born in those conditions will share similar traits. And if you follow it, it does. But the key word is generalized. It doesn't mean you're stuck in that. It don't mean
Right.
definitively that's your behavior. But if you take all these people, you start seeing similar behavior patterns in that. And that's just a
Hmm.
science. That's why we be looking at the Bible. That's why the significance point is to the star that was above
Well,
the manger. That
well,
was
look at
that
the
was all the
narrative.
astronomy that was being done.
Look at the
Mhm.
narrative that carried from astrology all the way into the Bible. It's based on like 12
Yeah.
disciples. It's all
Right.
it's related to narrative. That's why if
But
you go back and look at history.
right.
But you
But
remember I said the last part I told him I said I'm so far in trying to not be tied into this stuff. I said I want to have a baby outside in space and see how it's gonna follow the stars. Then that's why I was like, dog, because I just want to prove something wrong real quick. Like, dog, that it just never.
But
The
that's the
thing
thing
is,
though,
this reason
it's
why.
generalized. That's the whole thing is that when you said generalization, it means that we can find a pattern of this, but we're not locked into this. And that's what
Mm,
people don't get. It's a good starting place, in other words, to understand self. But it's not the end because your life's experiences and upbringings can shift you out of that generalization. And that's what people don't
okay.
get. You don't
Hmm.
live your life by it. It's just like when you hear like I've looked at signs and all that stuff, and I find some similarities. Like, okay, cool, that's me,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
But not all of it is me because my life's
Mm,
upbringings. Then you're gonna get into vocabulary and philosophy, which is name. Somebody saw me on here one night. I sat down, I did readings based on people's name, and it's very, very accurate. But are you
mm,
locked into it? Nah, you're not locked
Hmm.
into it. And when you try
mm.
making your decisions off of generalizations, you're in trouble. Automatic.
Yeah. Because some people read their horoscope every day like it's like,
Yeah.
like
Some mystical newspaper
look
that's
what my
gonna
day is
tell
gonna be
you what the
like.
weather's like.
No.
No.
Hey,
It's the
hold
most
Oh,
on.
today I'm gonna act
generalized,
the fool today
the
because my
generalized,
astrologer said I'm gonna act the fool.
right.
Right.
That's not it.
Just
Man.
know that your day will have many plentiful opportunities for you to take strides.
You, I'll read my horoscope and probably an hour later, I think I'll forget it.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, what was I supposed to be doing today? What was I supposed to be locked in today? I done missed my trait.
Look,
Oops.
Be
right.
sure
Today
you
your
be
success is
sure
Oh,
out of your
damn.
normal job, so they're gonna quit their job.
right.
What?
Like, oops. You
Today
But
is
my
lied to
my
man,
me,
day.
son.
It's a
the
dark
Bible says
moon.
that it's witchcraft.
Well, today
You
was
know,
supposed to
So
be what
busy.
retrograde ended or something, the new moon. What's the
Retrograde?
news?
I'm glad it ended because my
Me
week
too.
in whole retrograde has been trash.
You know how I figured out this sign thing though? Because I think I was in my early 20s, and this is the reason why I was just calling BS on it or whatever. Like I said, I know everybody got their feelings on it, but this is the reason why I say it. I call it BS on because I realized I was reading different stuff. You know, it sounded accurate, and then I was reading different signs. I'm like, but this sign sound like me too. And then I looked at another sign, like
Right.
this sign sound like me too. So I realized I'm like, oh, they say the nice juicy stuff for people to get with, and they just like, you know what that is, me. It do sound like me, but I noticed that every last sign sounded like me and stuff. So I'm like. But the thing is, that's what I learned about. I read this book that kind of this audio book that changed my life. What I talked about, I probably posted a few times. This called Atomic Habits. It made me realize it say that we can whatever we want to identify ourselves. That's why I always tell people we only limit ourselves and stuff. Signs, all that stuff, making us limit ourselves to what we think we are and all that stuff. And I realized that. Not even bloodline, none of that stuff. All that stuff, we can really choose to be whatever we want to be for real. We just got to focus on it and make a habit out of it. So if we just brought up a certain way and keep acting a certain way, we're going to end up being that way. But it's just the same way you could switch into be another thing. You can do that. Like I could be a tree hugger and lover, or I could be a hippie one day if I choose to be that. I just got to work towards doing it and all that stuff. But like I said, we be limiting ourselves by feeling like we entrapped with the signs, and we entrapped with our culture, we trapped with our skin color, we entrapped with our you know what I'm saying, we be just limiting ourselves like, oh well, this me, this is just me, you know. We don't even know what we is, you know what I'm saying. We can be whatever we want to be for real, low
You're
key. If I want to act like a
100%.
dog, I could be a dog too, you know what I'm saying. I can do whatever I want to do. Everybody can do what they want to do.
Well, you're 100% you. Like you are 100% in control, accountable of who you
Yeah.
are, what you do, how much. Of course, we've been told for many, many years. There's a book that you got to read too, Kev. You might like it. And I referred it to Kana because I'm in her book club and stuff. But it's called Up Level Communication. And it talks a lot about not just communication with couples and stuff, but about you and how 100% accountable you are and how much people don't realize how much control they have over their life.
Yeah.
That part.
And
That's the
forget it,
biggest
we already
revelation
talked
you'll
about
ever
it
get in your
today
entire
anyway, so I
life.
might as well say the other part.
But hold
And
on,
I'm about to burn some people with this. I'm sorry, but I just feel like majority of the people, I'm gonna say majority of them, the people that believe in the horoscope stuff, they don't know how to take accountability, because it's already starting off you saying that I'm this way because this sign. That's what they do. You know what I'm saying? I only do this because my sign say this or something like that. I am a stubborn person or something like that. Like, dude, you really can choose to not be a stubborn person. I can choose, okay, what they got, the Scorpios. I'm just sexual because of this and all that stuff, because you know my sign say I'm sexual, so I'm gonna be that. So everybody what they gonna do is they don't want to prove their self, they don't want to prove their self wrong, so they gonna be with what they was told they was or something like that. And then, okay, that's the third part that made me feel like that's some BS, because they came with a 13 sign, and nobody ain't want to believe it, and it pushed everybody's birthday back. Nobody ain't
They
want to
tried to
believe
make
that.
me a Cancer. I'm not a Cancer. I refuse to be a Cancer.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
not about to force
exactly.
my
But it was too
sign.
late, because everybody got it tattooed on them and all that stuff. Of course, they not about to take that back. Like, no, I've been like this, so that's why I'm like, nah.
Well,
Not
and
about
like
to
you
change
said
my
earlier, Kev,
personality.
who writes the horoscope? Man.
Yeah, and I thought of the scientists that do that. They the ones that came with these calculations and stuff. Then all of a
Look,
sudden they mess
look.
up and like,
So
oh, you know
listen,
what? It's a 13
yeah.
sign.
Listen what you just said, right? So let's backtrack this conversation, just see how flawed it is nowadays. It's called astronomy, right? Astrology. It's based on the positioning of the stars and the planets.
Yep.
When did the dates become the fact? We started off with an 8-month calendar and moved all the way up to a 12-month calendar.
Oh,
So
wow.
there's an alignment of the stars at particular times. So you navigate by the stars at night. That's why sailors are into the nautical traveling, right? You follow the stars in alignment. We're in a time period where people are making up shit. That's what they're doing as they go. You know, we're gonna shift today. You know, I used to be a Capricorn, but now I'm a Cancer. You know, it's like if you the only way you know where you're falling in astrology, if you're gonna be authentic to it, is to look at the damn stars. And most of us don't own a telescope. And if you live in a certain part of the damn world, you can't even see the stars, so you don't know what the hell's going on. So all of this new modern day, you know, the dates is this, and the tides are coming in, and the moon is positioned this way. You see the moon, you don't see the rest of the universe. These people that did this were given to it. If you read go look in the Bible, right? They talk about the Chaldeans. That's what those people did for a living. They lived in it, studied it, documented it, because they were trying to measure time as it relates to people's births and behaviors. Nobody's doing that no more, man. We just got a newspaper and somebody said this is good entertainment. I'm gonna tell you today, cancer, today is your day. You're gonna be very prosperous.
And
You're
they
gonna
like,
mess around and run. You're gonna meet your love
Hey,
today. Good
and
job,
why
cancer.
don't they ever tell you the bad shit that's going to happen?
Cancer,
Right.
you fucked up.
oh,
You know, you just
that part ain't right. That part ain't right. You're lying on that one. That don't even sound like me. They pick
they're
and
not
choose.
gonna
They
do that.
selective with it.
You know, it's ridiculous. It's like I think any prediction is a starting point, but not an ending point. And when
Yeah,
people
I
start
like
making it
that.
their end, they start making their end. That's when they messed up, dude. Because you're
I like how
trusting in
you
the
put
wrong
that though.
thing.
I like that one though. I like that.
That's it,
Yeah.
man.
Can,
I
can I can
respect
I
I
jump in
respect
real
every
quick?
view.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, but I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with that at the same time. But we have systems in place for a reason, and a lot of people are misinterpreting what they're really supposed to mean, right? So, like, I believe it was Dick Gregory that said, if you ever look at a baby when they sleep, because I got a boy and he was born in 2021. If you look at a baby, they will always find north, right?
Hmm.
Like they will align that way. They will be uncomfortable until they find north. And I also found out that with me doing my garden and everything like that, if you plant your plants due north, they will prosper better. And at the same time, if you look at trees, you will find that moss only grows on the south side where you're really not getting too much
Hmm.
sunlight. Right. So there are certain things and different things that we can take from it from a
Absolutely.
scientific
Yeah.
standpoint and a nature standpoint.
Yep.
I just wanted to throw that in there because
Okay.
a lot of people don't understand that we get a lot of the things that we're thinking of now from somewhere, but
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle, people have lost the origin of it.
That's the part right there.
That
Hmm.
part, the root,
Right.
and the
Because
narrative changed along the way.
we're scientific beings, whether people accept it or not. I don't care how religious you are and how religious you're not.
Yeah.
Science is science, and everything he said. Your body is composed of all the elements of the earth, and we have gravitational pulls. The moon provokes certain behaviors in people. With the whole werewolf, all that lunatic behavior, that's because when people had chemical imbalances, when that full moon comes, it pulls on your water levels in your body, and it shifts you. People don't realize
Mm-hmm.
this stuff is some real stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and what's happened is that people have commercialized it where it's no longer viewed as an art or as a science that people study. So now we got everybody's rendition of it, and the people who are true students of this and teachers, you can't find them. They won't commercialize it.
Yeah, they actually get paid to push it back. It's so much information
Yeah,
out right now. To be honest, fam, even if you got the real information in front of your face, you wouldn't even know it because there's so much other things.
right.
This is why we have so many of the distractions that we have. There
Hmm.
is no way that we should be at a shortage of food right now. When
Hmm.
you can go outside and plant your own food. There is no way that we. I mean, never mind. My bad. I don't want to detour the conversation. But there's a lot of things that if we just stand up and pay attention, have awareness of what is going on. If we start dispelling the lies, a lot of people are coming out here preaching and telling lies. We see it on TikTok every day, all day. It comes from the media. It comes from the government. It comes from even other governments. But one thing happens whenever you start locking all of this stuff in, you start being aware of something like, dang, I didn't see that. But now, because somebody brought it to my attention, I'm paying attention now. Even when it comes to the zodiac signs and the way that the earth axis and all this and all that. These are things that we can pay attention now, like, dang, I never seen that. But once people are aware of it, they start moving different. That's why we're seeing this shift. But my thing is people are getting so much information right now, they are not able to process it. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask y'all now, with y'all up here in the panel and the other 18 people watching, with the last, I'll say, I give you 3 years. How much do you feel like percentage wise have you been able to process the things that has been happening right now with us?
I would say like
24%.
you said. What'd you say, baby Tony?
24.
I was just about to say something in the 20s. Yeah, I was about to say 20 something percent. Something.
It's,
Now you
it's
better
wild.
believe.
It's
You
wild
better
that you say
believe.
24 because
You better,
24 is my number though. My bad. That's my number.
yeah,
24 is my number.
yeah.
I'm
That's
gonna
You
throw.
crazy.
better
I was going to
believe.
say
You
42
better
because I just turned 42, but it was within this last year
believe.
that I processed even more.
Oh my
I'm
This
gonna
God.
last
say.
year
Okay.
picked up.
But he talking about
Let
around
me
the
tell
whole
you.
world though. How the
In the
hell?
Around
world,
the
let me
whole
tell you what I'm
world?
gonna say. I'm gonna
Oh,
say
God.
7 to 10%,
Okay, I
because
like
the
that
human
too.
brain
That's good.
only functions on 7 to 10%.
Yep.
So I'm gonna keep them numbers there because I realize there's a lot that I don't know or perceive
Yeah, I
or
know.
even understand
Mm-hmm.
relative to the little bit that I'm picking up on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So with all of us having that understanding, like these last 3 years have my life has changed tremendously
Yeah.
from the pandemic with the 1-9 to where we are now. I haven't, to be honest with you, and I hope I'm not the only one, in which I know I'm not. I have not processed what has been going on out here in this world.
Mm.
It's
I
hard to.
haven't
Okay.
been able
Let
to.
me say something. Let me say something. Y'all been getting me. Okay. Let me tell you something. You better face reality. And if I'm gonna tell you something right now, don't forget they're telling us that chickens doesn't hatch eggs. Okay, so we don't have any more chickens. We don't have any eggs. We don't have any cows. We don't have meats anymore. We don't have turnip greens. We don't have corn, potatoes. They're telling us that dirt doesn't grow or process anymore. Okay, the inflation rates are going up. Okay, interest rates are going up. Everything is right here before our eyes. And if this isn't a reality, then I don't think you're on this world, on planet Earth, because I'm here. And I see a big difference and I see a change in, it's the new world order system that they're developing right now. And this is the part of the process. So you better be prepared to have your own business. You better be
But
prepared
some
to.
some people, fam. I'm sorry to interject, but I just want to let these people know. Some people are living in the metaverse right now, till this day. They are living in the metaverse. They don't even go
Okay.
outside. They
And
don't
another
touch no
thing.
blade of grass and don't let the sun hit their skin.
Most of
Yeah,
them are
yeah,
on TikTok.
but watch this. The horoscopes and all that stuff. Look at here. Come on, man. If anybody believe in the Bible or whatever your belief is witchcraft. And it's spoken of throughout the whole Bible. Sorceries, astrology and stuff like that. So you don't believe in that type of knowledge because that's not the knowledge of God. And that's what's spoken, throughout, the
But,
religion.
bro, I'm gonna have to interject now because we finna start going into a whole different topic and a whole different realm of what things are, because a lot of people will deem certain things that we do as sorcery and as witchcraft. And if we already know what spelling itself is a spell. If we already know what, you know, somebody doing you wrong and you doing right by them, they're going to get their just reward. We already know what karma looks like. So when we start going into these different avenues of that, I believe, me myself, I believe that the universe has a way of correcting herself.
Mm.
And I said that correctly, correcting herself.
Okay, I can't argue against how whatever you believe. That's what you believe. I ain't gonna argue with that.
Right. And I think it would be wise to not do so. I'm sorry, my bad. That was my ego talking. My bad,
But
my
since
bad,
you
my
said it
bad.
that
Because
way,
we were having, no, my bad. We were having a
since
good
you said it that way,
conversation.
Mark. Since you said it that way, well, I tell you something else.
Exactly.
Woo, that Mark something else, boy.
There goes
Mark, you
that
win,
Aries.
buddy.
That's that
You
Aries
win,
right there.
buddy.
What I act like.
Okay. He says not the same. Sorcery and witchcraft. I mean, that's not an argument for me. And that's not an argument for me. Sorcery and witchcraft. It's basically to me it's the same. It's going to be judged the same. You know, so now you're bringing this conversation to more spiritualism, to what we really believe when it comes to the power of sorcery and witchcraft. And I want to get off that topic because I've been blocked before because I said witchcraft. So it's
Yeah.
something
He gonna
demonic
say it again.
here on TikTok. Yeah, I've been
No,
blocked before with
I
this
don't. I don't think it.
conversation.
I don't think it's so much as demonic as it is powerful. Because
Yeah.
you
Yep.
gotta
The
you
damn
gotta
hobo.
realize how
Demonic is
faith itself
empowered.
faith but faith itself is a sorcery. Faith itself is a spell.
Hmm.
You having the ability to think and believe something and manifest it in real time, that is sorcery, that is witchcraft. That's why I say we gotta be careful when we start
Hey,
saying a lot of these
Mark,
things that we're saying because
Mark,
yes
excuse
sir.
me. Do you believe in God?
Yes sir.
Do you mind if I ask which God?
I mean it's up to you. Are you gonna be willing to receive my answer though?
Yes, sir. Why not? Somebody said
It's up
one
if
God, one Satan.
I was just about to say that too. I like this talk
Let
right
me
here.
let me
Cause I got
let
a
me
lot
give
to
a
say
little
about that one.
clarity. Let me give a little clarity to
It's
that
only one
question. Are we
God.
asking about a belief of a higher being, or are we talking about a religion?
I'm talking
higher
about
being
Yahweh.
is
I'm talking
different
about
than
Yahweh
religion.
High, the Most
That's a
High. I'm talking
that,
about that spiritualism. I ain't talking about some other. I'm just asking to see what Mark is gonna say, and then King, I want to hear what you got to say too.
Well, me myself, I believe that we are gods within our own right because we were made within our Father's image. So the similarities that I can have with the Bible, I can also disagree with some things in the Bible as far as what man said and what God has said. Because God has written laws; these are things that are undisputed, which is the same thing as facts. Facts are something that cannot be disputed. Now, opinions is something different. That's when you start getting into belief in religion. But as far as God, a supreme being, someone who is above me and making all these things work around me, yes, I believe that. But I also believe that I have the power to give life and I have the power to take life.
Hmm.
What you think about that, King?
well, being that I once walked as a pastor, it's an interesting question, right?
Oh, exactly.
here's what I
I had to go there.
here's what I believe. What's going on, my friends? Is that when we talk about the concept of God, I believe in one God. But I
Yes.
also
Exactly.
believe that different cultures have different renditions based on their upbringings of their experiences. What
Yes.
one culture gives a
Exactly.
different name is the same exact God we're talking about in another. The practices are left to interpretations. Greek mythology has shown that time and time again. I can identify Greek mythology and then line it up with people and characters in the Bible, whether it be angel, demons, or whatever the case may be.
I
So the
like
thing
King,
about
man.
the belief
He sound like me, boy.
the belief in God is for me is one. There is one supreme being that I don't know who she it is, but I believe that
That's
has
right.
created human beings and given us the most amazing gift, which is choice, the power of choice. Right? I
Exactly.
don't believe that he's a puppet master, and when he does, it allows us to experience one another collaboratively. And also use our imagination to create what we believe is something that creates hope within each one of us. When people
Mm-hmm.
derive from that, believing in a higher being giving us a free choice to live collaboratively with one another, we now tap on what's called evil. And
Mm.
those people seek to destroy rather than build. So anything that starts to divide people and destroy people and compromise people from coming together for me is evil. And when I get into that topic, I start looking at religions that create more division than sanctity by saying we're the only one, none other than me, rather than saying what do we have in common and how did you interpret that, and let's work collaboratively together. So I've spent a lot of time at the deepest levels of Christianity,
Yes.
Catholicism, and I've extracted myself to have clarity and have more peace than ever because I recognize that God is the supreme being, and some people choose to believe in him. When I get tense is when somebody says, "Oh, I don't believe in a God." Prove it. Well, that's the thing. God's IQ is high, and above all of that, you need to be proven. He doesn't
Mm-hmm.
compete and compare with anybody.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Exactly.
believing in God, yes, I believe a God that wants goodwill and freedom amongst all mankind. I don't think
Yes.
he wants division. I don't think he wants separation. I don't think he wants destruction. But yet, because he gave us free will, he allows us to adjust and adapt.
Mm-hmm.
What the end game is going to be, what it looks like on the other side, I have absolutely no clue. I know that I'm purposed to help people, and that's what I do.
Mm-hmm. And I like how you did it. You said it more detailish than I did it, though. But I like that. You said everything right. And I like how, man, nice. Because I say the exact same
perfectly
thing,
said.
Man. I say that.
Me
I say
too.
that.
Perfectly
Hey, look,
said.
here go the other thing.
And I'm glad he said it.
Huh?
No, I was just saying I'm so glad that he explained that, because I can feel that there was a difference of belief, and we all could believe a different way. And I believe also that there's one God, and you gotta be on the same page that, because the conversation it could get really strange.
Oh yeah,
because people think that what they believe right, and who am I? They're not right, but I know what I believe in.
yeah.
So I appreciate that, King.
That approach has allowed me to reach some people that's in bad situations. I've sat down and talked to someone who believes in the Nordic way, the Viking way, and because of the way I perceive things, they were not offended, and we had a great conversation. I believe that if you're in tune with the way that guy wants to communicate, you can talk to anybody who has a different cultural belief system. If you have a belief system that violates someone else's culture, then I ask you to question how you believe and what you believe. So I love, and look, I've been on the extreme side. I was part of a church, and I believe it was a cult. We the only ones. To hell with everybody else. They're gonna and I realized that, wow, what kind of unity did that bring me in my life? What kind of peace did it? It brought hostility and war to my heart. And being a veteran, I stayed on edge the whole time. I was ready to fight. Soldier in the arm of the Lord. But but I realized that having the ability to bring people to a peaceful state by taking a stance on the only one thing that I believe to be true, which is there's one God, allowed me to have great dialogues with many people, help them come out of a confused mindset, help them find their own path, whatever that may be to them, but most importantly, help them discover a peaceful way to exist with everyone else. And for me, that's the end of my game, is like, can I help you live in existence in peace with other people so that we're not destroying each other? And if whatever your belief system does not accomplish that, then I think it's flawed at the end of the day.
There's a saying I've said on here, and I know it was in the NLE Choppa's affirmation song. He says, "I believe in God, but not the way you told me." And like going back to what you went through, King, it's like a lot of people don't realize cults and stuff. Some people have a lot of religious trauma, and they've been traumatized by the idea of what God was to them growing up, and they're like, "Whoa, I don't even want to think about God. I don't want to talk about God." But I like what Mark said. Mark is like, there is a God within us. Like, God is within us. If you believe in the God that you believe in, there's within us. But we all carry the same traits that we say God has.
Yeah.
We all can get angry. We all can love. We all can be kind. We all have these similar qualities of God. It's like sometimes if we could be that little mini God walking around, just presenting it, but not judging people for their idea of God.
Yeah.
Here we go back into having confrontation with people who have a different you mentioned it, interpretation. That word right there.
Hey, you want to. It's two things that support what Mark said and baffles people when I break this down. One of them is when he said you're a God to yourself. People are like, whoa, but yet fail to forget whenever Jesus was asked that question, he says, "Does not your scripture say that ye are gods?" So he trampled them with that very same statement, right? The next one is, if you believe the Bible is only the spoken word of God, as most people call it, then explain Proverbs, which is a collection of wisdom from different parts of the world.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, look. I got the golden thing, though. That's what I asked a dude recently. Because it made me think about, I told you I'll be coming with some weird questions and weird thoughts. So this how I know it's only one God. This is how I feel. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because if it's a bunch of gods, nobody, I wonder if anybody in this world ever thought about this. Why aren't they fighting right now? You know what I'm saying? Why they not doing it? Why that though? Would you try to take my people from me? Would you try, you know what I'm saying? That they, you know what I'm saying? That'd be some crazy stuff. That's how I know it's just one God. It's just everybody got their own path of how they got to get, and it's different beliefs. That's the reason why I'm not religious no more. I'm more spiritual than anything, and I do believe in the Bible and all that stuff, a lot about the Bible and stuff, because it has a lot of stuff that reflect on my life and all that stuff. It's like a lot of that stuff in there. It's like it's telling us for a reason. All that I take what I get out of it, and what I realized out that whole entire Bible, he just really just want us to love ourselves, love him, and love everybody else. You know what I'm saying? That's all it is. Really, just love. And if you look at it, even the people he used were sinners. They were sinners, and he had to you know what I'm saying? He showed that he can use sinners to do what his works and all that stuff. So it's like,
Kev, here's where the idea of different gods pops up, right? If you pay attention to Greek mythology and look at the parallel in the stories, when you see things you're unfamiliar with, you give it a title. Period. Right?
Yep.
In Greek mythology, Hermes was the messenger. Right? He was the god that people saw. Right? In the Bible, who's the messenger?
They are fighting.
Gabriel. Gabriel was the messenger angel, right? So you see the same thing, two different people, two different interpretations, gives it a different names, identifies it differently, but the principle of how they operate is the same. We see Ares, the god of war, right? Who is that? Michael the archangel. They had the same responsibilities, the same thing. One calls it an angel, other one calls it a god. At the end of the day, we have what's called demigod, right? Welcome to Jesus, half God, half man. So you see where I'm going with this?
Hercules.
When you start seeing the parallels between all of this, that's why I'm not offended by nobody's interpretation
yes,
of
that's
it.
What it is.
The principle is the same. You're just seeing it from different cultural systems.
Yep.
But at the end result was the same across the board.
Exactly. And I like that you did that too. And I figured it. I figured that without. That's why I always had that question. I always asked my mama. I used to ask my mama, like, man, how did I get lucky and get the right religion? Because everybody called their religion the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. That's why I be telling people, like, yeah, your truth is your truth at the end of the day. Your experience is your experience and stuff. But you can't tell somebody else that their truth is not true or they didn't experience it. Like, and then another thing is, like, they limit God. Like, God just gonna limit himself to one religion. You know what I'm saying? Oh no, I don't look at y'all. Y'all say, no, he know what he doing. He knew us before we was all born. At the end of the day, like, they don't know that we put human brain on God.
Right? I think a problem that we have, though, real quick, bro, and what you're saying is straight, big facts. But one thing that we got to realize is people are changing words as we speak. The original text and the original things that people believe, what we call truth, is not truth. It's basically it has become people's opinion of what the truth is. But whenever you start talking about facts, these are things that cannot be disputed. These are things, no matter how you feel about them, it is still the way that it is.
Yep. Yeah, truth and facts is different. That's one thing I noticed. That's truth and facts are two different things.
Yeah, but I just wanted to go ahead and throw my bad, bro, to cut you off. But
no, you
rolling. I'm with you. We all on the same path. I just followed you already, so I'm on you.
There we go. Hey, so, King, let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
Let me ask you a question, King. Now you and I pretty much understand the Godhead. What you think about an unclean temple?
So
people that doesn't understand the unclean temple, when God would dwell in his body and when he won't dwell in his body.
So that's a good question, right? So when we hear the word spirit, right, people get a kooky feeling. The spirit or the pneuma is really the mind of something, the thought process, right? And with the unclean temple is one that is defined against the order of God, how God would think. It's kind of like this, right? When you raise children, what you do is you teach your children to think like you in the same manner you do. At any point in which your child rejects your teachings, your thought process cannot abide inside of your child. They start to behave differently than you. So as a parent, you can do one of two things. We can go to the story in the Bible where the prodigal son, that father had taught his son everything, but yet when the son rejected it, he let him go. I can't force him to be here. So God is not going to force his mindset into someone who's not receptive to accepting the way he wants you to think, whether that's which should be a positive thing. So not until you get to the point in which saying, I'm going to abandon my thoughts or my ways and learn how God wants me to be, can you ever have the spirit of God abiding inside of your mindset, which is the mind of God within people. So unclean temples have yielded themselves to negative thought, destructive behavior, and things that are not beneficial to them as it pertains to mankind. So then you have somebody who's filled with every type of malice. They're combative. They're angry all the time. They remain in depression and anxiety. That's where all of this comes from. And you have to get it in yourself that this thought process is not conducive to who I was created to be. And then not until you do that and change that can you become what you're supposed to be.
Man, I wish you
And a
could
lot
say
of
it
us had
again
time to
louder
grow
for the
from that.
people in the. I wish you could say it louder for the people in the back eating crayons and sniffing glue.
Yeah.
Good gracious.
You know, one thing I don't. Oh, was you still talking, Mark? My bad. I don't know if you were talking.
No, you good, bro.
Oh no, I was just saying one thing I just don't like is just like I don't know why people be thinking they perfect just because they got the chance to change their life and all that stuff. I never liked it, that stuff. Like all of a sudden, like, but you was once that same person before you even, try to build a connection with somebody like that. That's why I don't be trying to be judgmental against certain people and stuff. Because sometimes it takes time for people to get to where you at now, where you feel you at, you know what I'm saying? And like I said, every day we're gonna struggle at something. We're not gonna always be perfect. Like, we be trying and all this stuff. We do what we can, all this stuff or whatever. But the thing is, we gotta stop acting like we any better than anybody else because we had time to change. They got time to change. Everybody got time to change. So even like saying that somebody was unclean or something like that, we were once we still probably unclean. And we not perfect. Well, we perfectly made in His eye. But I'm saying like we still sinners. All of us still sinners,
Kevin,
no matter what.
Let me give you a new word, right? The word you're using actually should be using is infallible. No one's infallible, right? What we've done is we've taken a simple word as perfect, right? If somebody makes the food the way you want it, you call it, hey, that's perfect. You can reach a point of perfection, but perfection is not permanent. That's the issue, right? It's not permanent. You reach it, you might lose it, you get it back. A perfect is a resting point in which you're satisfied with something. So when we say nobody's perfect, no, but you know what? You meet somebody that you like and say you're perfect for me. So we can get to the point of perfect, but infallible means there is no error, no flaw, no mistakes in it. And I always tell people that nobody's infallible, but perfection can be distorted. It can be messed up. So I say, when we talk about being perfect, we're talking about drawing our life with a pencil. And if you mess up, you erase it and you keep on drawing until you get it right. And then when you get done, you say, oh, that's perfect. But guess what? It could get messed up again. You keep on working. It gives you something to keep working at.
This is so similar to the conversation my husband and I were having last night. We were talking about the 10 Commandments. We're like, wait a minute. Okay, I may not be a killer, but I know I broke maybe one of the commandments. So if you break one, you technically.
Oh, you got.
Oh, sorry.
My bad.
Gosh darn it! I'm usually pretty good about that.
You came in hot with that one too.
For a person that sit there and hug lions, huh? It's like no.
But it's sad that we can't even like. My bad to interject, but it's sad
No,
that
go
we
ahead.
can't even really just talk and really like. We know that we don't mean no malice behind the things that we are saying, and this goes back into like we are really literally witnessing the change of definitions and words and their meanings right now in front of our faces. And the next generation are going to take the things that we know to be true, the things that we know to be facts. Now these things are up for debate. These things are up for opinion. That to me supersedes a lot of the things that we try to figure out and don't know that we will never know, like what God is thinking, because that will always be a mystery to us. But for a lot of the things that we know to be right, this is where you strive and repent and try to do right. Even though it's in our nature to do wrong, we still have to strive and fight that nature in us to do the right thing. And a lot of people don't want to acknowledge that. They be like, "Oh, accept me for who I am," but you got to realize that who you are is a messed up person. I mean, it's just point blank period.
Right.
Like,
and they complain about the person that they are. This is the thing. People will be so jacked up. Oh, let me be who I am. Let me be who I am, and then complain about the situation that they're in. At the same time, it's like that's hypocrisy in and of itself. You are creating your own chaos when you do that.
You know what I believe
and you're blaming other people for it.
There's no cure for maturity. Some things can only be cured by age and time. That is it. You try to fix something you're not capable of. What's up?
I got another question, bro. Do you believe in the judgment?
Do I believe in the judgment?
Yes, sir.
You know what? I don't. I don't believe in the quote unquote judgment. I think it's a way of us trying to process what may happen on the other side. I don't have enough evidence in front of me to declare or even prove that there is some said judgment. When there's a lot of stories that show fathers giving forgiveness to their children regardless. So the judgment, the way that it is communicated through Christianity, I'm not sold on it. I think there will be some sorting out of things that belong in a certain place because of the continued behavior and the mindset that's there. But as far as, hey, you smoked a cigarette, you're going to hell. Oh, you did this, you're going to. I don't really believe in that. I think
No.
that I think there's people who I'm gonna just be real with you. I think some people are evil to the core. And then I think there's some people who are trying and some people that are just wonderful to the core. So judgment based on a checklist of you did this and this, but you didn't get this, you're going to hell. I don't believe
Yeah,
in that. I
I don't
just
think
don't.
it's like that though. I think it's that people's interpretation on it. I do believe in
Mhm.
judgment, but not the way that they interpret it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying? I
that's
think
what,
it's
yeah,
different
that's what I'm
from
getting
what
at.
we think it is and all that stuff. And a lot, like I said, a lot of churches and all that stuff, they use that scare tactic and all that stuff. And the thing is,
Mhm.
like, when you really, that's why I tell people they gotta really read for themselves because all this stuff I've been growing up hearing all this stuff that you're gonna go in a basket of going in the hell in the basket and stuff whatever they say all that stuff. They just quick to say all this stuff, but I take the time and I tell people you gotta leave first off when you get the first key thing. God is love. All right, so you gotta read the Bible in like love type way. Why he do certain things? Why all this stuff of why he's doing it? Why he destroyed this or whatever? You gotta look at it in that way. So when what was I getting to? Uh Now if you read it in that type of way, then you will see why he do certain things. He don't do it because he don't think the same way we think. That's even in the verse. You know what I'm saying? He don't think the same way we think. He don't move the
Hey,
same way we
Kel,
move. He do out
let me
of
tell you. Let me tell you one of the many stories that shifted my thought. I like Cool Rod's asking some phenomenal questions, by the way. Let me tell you the thing that shifted me. One of the many stories, just one. Sitting there and getting around broken and damaged people will change the way you perceive you've been taught about judgment. I sat down and watched this young girl who had been taken advantage of. Let me use right TikTok language in this conversation. When she was a child, couldn't make it, and she was then put in a position where she was being sold over and over again. Now, if you know that behavior can damage someone, then she was being abused, so it forced her mindset in a way that she was only a reaction of her damaged upbringings. So along the way, she began to cope by doing illegal substances, right, and putting her in bad situations. Now, the bad news is some of the people that did this to her come from the religious sector. Let's say that. And when you saw this girl's mindset, I was forced to ask if I was God and she was had things done to her that damaged her thinking and her mindset, and she died today, what would I do with her? And when I had to ask myself that question, I says, you know what? I don't think I understand judgment the way that God Himself would do it. Mankind's judgment is a lot different than God. We're very critical, and I
yes.
know we have to have some boundaries. But when I look at God's judgment, I think it extends so far beyond the person. Right? I don't know everything about a person. What brought them to that point? Because people's trauma
Yep.
can shape their minds and put them in a position that you wouldn't normally think you'd be in until that happened to you. So
Yep.
when I saw that when people were damaged by others, where would I put those people at? Would I just hold them accountable to do something they never thought they never knew, something they didn't put up on themselves and they just reacted to it based on all they knew? Then how could I put them in a bad place for the rest of eternity if that wasn't their doing?
Exactly. That's crazy. And what
And it brought me
about
to a
this?
compassionate
Look,
state with people.
this another thing. I'm thinking like it's so because I even think even God loved the devil too, but he might not like his way, but he loved all his creation. That's what I believe. He loved because he flat out love. You know what I'm saying? But he have to do what he got to do at the end of the day. Devil belong where he belong at. You know what I'm saying? His angels belong where they belong at. But it ain't gonna be out of because of I'm doing this because I think that you're evil and I'm doing this out of revenge. I don't think God has revenge in his bone. It's just. It's called just. You know what I'm saying? He got to do what he got to do to have that course keep going. You know what I'm saying? If something is getting in the way of certain growths and stuff, he's going to take it off earth. You know what I'm saying? Just like he did with the Sodom and Gomorrah. I don't think none of them people probably went to hell. He just probably, or maybe some of the people that was depending if that was his people or not. But I don't think they probably went to hell. He just destroyed. If he destroyed, so that don't mean that he gonna send them to hell because destroyed. I mean, it's just they're not. They done their job and they gotta go. You know what I'm saying? They did what they had to do. It was something to learn from, and then it's time for them to go type situation or whatever. It was something else I was about to say.
Can I give everybody some homework tonight? And I want to ask y'all this question. And this is where I feel like we've got it mixed up from the beginning. Do y'all feel like Adam and Eve was relationship goals or were they brother and sister?
Um,
They was
I was
husband and
talking about
wife.
that to my friend before. I said that's some wild stuff. I think their brothers and sisters was going crazy. I think incest was
well,
normal back then. I
the
think.
first thing you got to convince me is that they was the first man and woman.
Okay,
was
do anybody believe in a heaven? Do anybody believe that Yahweh sits on a throne in heaven? And do anybody believe in Lucifer, not Satan? Because Satan in the Greek term are his angels. Okay, Lucifer. Okay,
Well,
the
I mean,
morning star.
Possible.
Lucifer. Do
well,
anybody believe that Yahweh?
if you believe, my
Let
bad,
me
bro.
finish it out. Look, if you do, you believe in Yahweh, and do you believe in Lucifer? Do you believe there's a heaven and a hell?
Yeah, it's possible. Yes, most definitely possible. Yes, if it's such things good and bad, it's good, such things positive and negative. You know what I'm saying? It's always a balance. Life is balance.
Exactly.
Yeah. So then
I know
it would
you
be safe.
believe. I know you believe
It
that.
would be safe to say that God is dual. It's a duality. But
Mm-hmm.
see, I asked that question because this is something that's at the beginning of the scriptures. And I feel like if we can get understanding, because I've heard a lot of people say that they feel like Adam and Eve is relationship goals, but we've never had a man produce a child. So whenever they say that God took a piece of his rib and made woman, mind you, he already breathed life into dirt whenever he made man,
Right.
right? So if we know that a man, he carries the lineage as far as what we know, right? He carries the lineage of the bloodline. That's why you follow his name down. So is it could have been the great sin that they committed in that garden was something that they weren't supposed to know. Whenever we're talking about the tree of life, if we're talking about the tree of life, at any time we're talking about being fruitful, it's talking about multiplication. It's not talking about no apple and things like that. So when we find the state of what, my bad if I'm going off course, but I just want a lot of the basic questions we don't even have the answers to, or people don't even want to recognize it. But nowhere did I read that Adam and Eve was husband and wife. But I did read that they were of the same blood. They were of the same line because she came from him. And once we seen women start producing life, that's when we seen a difference. And we still see it to this day. That's why a man cannot produce life. So that's just a
Even if,
question and some homework that I want people to do before, because I've been asking this question around and I've getting different answers. So I just before I bring my revelation of what I believe it is, I just want people to think about that.
Hmm.
okay, even Greek and Jews believe that God created Adam and Eve, and the creation of the woman, which is very important to every woman because we can't take that away from her. She's quite obviously someone different. And, to say that it's incest, I mean, to say that it's brother and sister, we know how it went and we know that everything really wasn't explained of how all the people got here.
No, I
We
wasn't.
understand. Yeah, we know that we study to show ourselves approved. And, and this is what Yahweh wants us to understand. Do you believe that he is who he is? And if you do, you would attempt to follow the commandments. And that was my next question. Do you guys see anything fitted in a lifestyle, whether it's the Old Testament or New Testament, that allows us or instruct us to live by the commandments?
I believe majority of people is doing that. They just ain't doing it the way each of us wish they can do it. That's all it is. We don't see it in our eyes. That's the why, guys, the judgment at the end of the day. Because we can easily say that you're not doing the commandments or something like that, but we could get told the same exact thing and all that stuff. Because you realize if you read it, but that's funny because I be talking about this to this Israelite at my job and all that stuff. Make it seem like we could do all 600 and something other commandments and stuff, which we know that's impossible. You know what I'm saying? So I try to explain to him that's the reason why Jesus supposed to die on the cross for us, right? Because it do say that we're no longer off work anymore. We're off faith, or what is not work faith? It's no longer off work. We basically saved by Him. You know what I'm saying? Because it was obvious that it was going to see that. I mean, it was seen that we couldn't do all them commandments. We couldn't do all them sins and all that stuff. Nobody can't do. That's impossible. It's just damn near impossible.
Repentance. It's got to
Well,
be through
that takes
repentance.
me
Yeah.
that takes me back to the word duality. Is like if you haven't experienced any of the bad shit in the world or any of the the turmoil or whatever you've been through, how do you know what love is? Or vice versa. It's like you kind of have to know both sides or experience both sides or have an understanding of what good and evil is in order
Yeah.
to discern,
And balance.
in
Yeah.
order to decipher how you're going to move forward.
See, commandments are a cultural attempt to keep order amongst a group of people. And that's why you start off with virtually one commandment, right? Don't eat from the tree. That multiplies into 10 commandments, right? Then that turns into the book of Leviticus. Then that turns to the law of a government. It continues to expound and expound, and it never resolves the heart of a man. So commandments are only man's attempts to try to keep order amongst people. And not until people come into the understanding and love of mankind, which is the greatest love, right?
Yep.
Will they ever follow the ultimate commandment and live? Here's an example.
Yep.
Why does it require a speed limit sign to tell you to drive slow in the neighborhood? That's because your heart's not thinking about your love of your brother. There's kids that might pop out in the street or somebody's dog. You're not thinking about people. You don't have enough love for people or mankind. So you will drive recklessly, but you're going to have to put a speed limit sign tell you, hey, 20 miles per hour. When if your heart was orientated correctly, guess what? You would not drive 40 and 50 miles per hour in the neighborhood just on that factor alone.
Yep.
So what we do is we move from one commandment, 10 commandment, multiple commandments to laws to govern entire nations that are forever being amended, which shows you that no commandment could ever condition the heart of a person.
Mm-hmm. And then I want to add this to it too, because they do say keep His commandments. And I actually talked to this, like I said, I got an Israelite in my job. He preach about this every day with her. And I told him, I'm like, the fact he said that, and it actually say that in the Bible that it got to a point now he written the laws in our heart now. And I think that this what made me think of what it is like what they say, the Holy Spirit. Because that's the only thing he unforgiving of is the blasphemy against the Holy Spirit. So I think I don't know, from what I believe or understand out that situation is that I think that like the Holy Spirit, when we know we got that, I think it's that feeling of like, it's like a guilt type feeling. I think that's what I feel like when you feel like you did something wrong or something like that, and you feel like you got to get corrected or something like that. And I don't think that a natural evil person has that in them or something like that to prevent them from doing something wrong or something like that. Like if you done knocked the kid or you felt like you did wrong or something like that. Or if and all that stuff. I think it's just something that's in us now. I think that's that's written. That's supposed to be written in our heart. Why we feel certain ways about different situations.
And Kevin,
Can I give you something for that? Because
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mark.
My bad, bro. But that will be where we get the consciousness at. That'll be where
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm going to drop down, Kev, because I got to go to a client. Sorry, Mark. I just want to let him know that I'm going to drop down.
You good? Because I was about to drop down myself. But that's where we get into the idea of consciousness. And whenever they show the devil on one side, God on the other side, the angel trying to tell you right and stuff like that. Whenever you're able to weigh that out and you actually feel like you're doing something wrong, like say you get ready to take something, even though you may feel like you're in the right, but you feel like you may be doing the wrong thing. Everybody doesn't have that. Just like common
everybody
sense.
don't get that.
Because you're conscious. Watch this.
Being on TikTok, I've realized how much it is so different for everybody that people do not take.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
No, I'm loving what you're saying, because this is why this is for those that are biblical in this. It says that your conscience can get seared with a hot iron, right? Then the other part is it also says this. It says that your conscience is going to bear witness against you. That's biblically sound text, right? That within the average person, there is a knowledge that actually allows you to understand what's right and wrong from a godly perspective. But then through your experiences in life and your resistance to it, or your pain and your trauma, you get to a point where your conscience no longer speaks to you. It doesn't say anything. Now that's a dangerous place to be in, because now you can't regulate what's right and wrong, and you can become selfish, which brings you back to the violation of the one commandment that matters the most, which is love for brother and sister.
Yep.
Right.
Love thy
Hey, fam.
neighbor.
I'm a dip out, man. Much love, peace. Keep building, fam. But
For,
we at a good place. Keep doing what you're doing. I love y'all. Stay
for
safe,
sure.
and
Right, brother.
I hope to see y'all tomorrow, fam.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Good looks, man. Thanks for stopping by, man. Yeah. I got interesting. We got to so many topics today in one whop.
Man, I love that. I love that it's not an angry discussion back and forth.
Yeah.
Everybody, I know when it gets to these topics, I'm very careful on my word choice, because
Yep.
I know different experiences, different perspectives, different, I must just say, different doctrinations can cause people to become angry and fight one another, instead of just hearing out the other person's, the thought process, and look for the principle in their belief system, see if it aligns with your principles.
Yep. That's all.
And in a room like this, I know everybody's been taught something different. I
Yep.
know everybody has a core belief or a doctrine they practice in their mindset, but at the end, can we hear out the similarities in how we think
That's all.
as it pertains to that, so that we can keep peace amongst one another? That's what matters at the end of the
That's
day.
all that really matter for real. And that's why I tell everybody that everybody's entitled to what they believe in, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? And stop
absolutely.
finding ways to separate ourselves, man. Even though just because you love different from somebody else, that don't mean you don't love. That's all it is, you know what I'm saying? We
Right.
just gotta look at that, man. Some people different. Everybody think different. You know what I'm saying? We can't keep thinking that all what we are our way is the highway. You know what I'm saying? Everybody feel that same way, but we gotta find a way to work with each other and work together. You know what I'm saying? So unity is way better
Absolutely.
than separation.
Exactly.
What's the
Yeah,
first?
yeah,
What's the first thing that was said, right, about man in Genesis? It's not good that man is alone. That's the first thing that it says. It was not good.
Yeah. Yep. Facts.
exactly.
Facts for real,
So
man.
if I look at it like this, if you don't believe in the Godhead, and that's the beginning of the Godhead, and that's the beginning of relationship, that's the beginning of faith, and that's the beginning of understanding I am that I am. So
Right.
if you don't acknowledge that, and then you say that I am God myself. We know in the Old Testament they said, "Don't you know ye are gods?" But it was small g. And what it was saying that we are the creation of gods, because don't
Mhm.
forget, man has become like us, knowing good and bad. So
Yeah.
that's
Mhm.
where we become like God, you
Yeah.
know.
Right.
And, so the understanding of people, and I knew the conversation, it had different beliefs, it had different understandings, it had different backgrounds and different point of
Right.
view, you know. And like King said, there was no disrespect, and we express ourselves, across the board. But it's very important that you be very well educated, and like the word say, you don't need a man to teach you, and and that's why, because you have faith, and then you'll be working with the Holy Spirit, you know.
Mhm.
Well,
So
a lot
look,
of
this
people,
what happened?
a lot of
Was he
people
done?
think, a lot of people get it confused, and they think that Yeshua is Yahweh. They think he is God, and then you get that group of people that understands it that way. So the
Right. That's a
conversation,
big contention.
exactly, and it didn't get there. You know what I mean? That was a good one.
Right.
You know, So I wanted to ask that question: did anybody believe that Yeshua was Yahweh? And that's where your education come in at right there. Understanding
They said with the
one.
Trinity.
Yeah, the Trinity stuff.
What
Yeah.
would you say is not such thing as the Trinity? I thought they said it was such thing as the
Now
Trinity in
it's
the
the one.
Bible.
It's the oneness doctrine. That's what it divide. Christianity divides between the Trinity, the Godhead in one, and the oneness doctrine, where Jesus is God, God is Jesus, and then those
God,
that
Jesus, and the
see
Holy
them as
Spirit
separate.
supposed to all be the same. just different
You see,
forms, from what I heard.
Yeah, and see, the Holy Spirit was the helper. He was the helper that Yeshua was going to send because that's who helped him. Okay, Romans rewrote the Bible, and they're the ones who put that in there. That's why it's more Roman Catholic, far as the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Okay, but the belief is Yahweh, and to believe that we all know Yeshua, and then every other religion has their prophets. So it's nothing strange because even Yeshua says that I am not Yahweh. He prayed I pray unto the Father. I pray unto the Father. I pray unto the Father that He send you the Holy Spirit. I pray unto the Father. He's mightier than me. So He tells everybody that He is not Yahweh. And that's where you understand that the Holy Spirit of God is the Holy Spirit of God. That's just a spirit of God. And God has 7 Holy Spirits of Himself. Anyway, we just read the Bible, read Revelations, and read it'll tell you itself versus you listening to me. Because that's the
let me
best.
tell you how I've always. Let me tell you how I've always looked at it. I've broken it down scientifically with someone because they take certain parts out of that text. I study all the texts. I got the Quran, the Bible, all that stuff. I read all that stuff. And when you study the text, there's some confusion in the statement, but if you get this, I call it spiritual DNA and natural DNA, right? Because that which is natural first and then that which is spiritual. So if you take and pull my son's DNA, guess whose DNA you're going to find in there?
Yours?
Exactly, right? my DNA, right? So when you begat something, your DNA is there, and by right, that person can identify, because guess what I gave my son? My name. He is a separate entity, but has my name and my DNA. Therefore, he can slate rights to say that I am Roy. I am Cliff Roy. Matter of fact, he's the third. And it gives him that power to act in my stead and in the same respect that I would get based on name and DNA. But yet he is still separate of me, but not separate at the same time.
Okay, I get you. I like that. He be slick with his stuff. I like how he did. That was smooth.
So you got this argument about, well, it's all the same. By DNA, it is.
Yeah.
Spiritual DNA, it is. But by physical manifestation, it is separate. Otherwise, if he's talking to the sky, then who's responding?
Right, exactly. I feel you on that. Yeah. See, but look, this is the thing I came with people, man, because I know a lot of people, and that's why I learned to be more open-minded and stuff. Because first off, I'm gonna say this: in my belief, what I believe, I don't think God is gonna punish somebody for not being as smart as him. That's one thing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I hear a couple people with that one dude have to think like, what the heck? But I don't think, because everybody want to be so technical and think that because people don't read the Bible a certain way that they supposed to read it, because they like, and that's another thing is everybody interpret the book, whatever their beliefs, and even within their own beliefs, they interpret it different ways and all that stuff. So who's to say who's right and wrong and stuff? All of us at the end of the day is just trying. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think God is that petty that he like, oh, you didn't call me the right name. Oh, you think my son is who you supposed to be worshiping? I don't think God is that petty. We keep putting our human minds on God like he really gonna be that petty and be like, nah, you worshiping the wrong person. He know at the end of the day, he know what we doing. He know if we trying or not. He know our heart. Even people that call themselves gods, he even know like their intentions behind it. If they just saying it because that's what they believe in and they feel like they're a part of that, I don't think he's gonna deem them or put them like, nah, you think you no. I think he know their heart at the end of the day. That's why at the end of the day, that's the reason why I believe in judgment, because we're quick to make judgment because we got a different understanding of the Bible and stuff, and we like, oh no, you probably they probably don't want to say like, oh, you probably going somewhere because you think you something like that. But at the end of the day, God knows at the end of the day. He knows at the end of the day.
Yeah, I got a question for you, right? Watch this. So, do you believe there's some type of judgment, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you believe that people could be born with a quote unquote demon or possessed? Born that way?
I don't think none of God's people do. I think God got his people and the devil make his demons.
Who's God's people? I thought he created everyone.
Right. He created the devil too though, but
so right, okay. Now backtrack. It said in the Old Testament, in God is good and evil, duality, like Lovely said, right? So then, when you work around disabled people for a living, it will change your perspective. So some of those people that are born with certain disabilities communicate certain ways that are not biblically sound, and there's certain behaviors there. So the only way you could justify that is to tell me that it was born with a demon. So that's a lot of people born with demons, which makes absolutely no sense, right? So I'm getting to this point. So where we put those people upon death,
God made
upon
those, God, and
unalive.
that's why God makes the judgments. Because
You
we
know what I
don't
always
know.
tell
We
people?
don't know.
I have no heaven, no hell. I'm quoting somebody. I have no heaven, no hell to put you in.
Exactly.
Don't fear me.
Exactly. Exactly.
I tell
All
people
I'm
that every
saying,
time.
that's why I highlighted. I recently was listening to a motivational thing because I'll be listening every now and then, and I like
Right.
that verse though. It's like we think that God think like us, and He clear as day made it seem like He made it. He clear as day wrote in there like, no, I don't think like you, and I don't
Your
act like
ways
you.
are
You know what I'm
not my
saying? So
ways,
we be
your thoughts
thinking
are not
that
my
because
thoughts.
of, huh?
He said, my ways are not your ways, and my thoughts are
Yeah,
not your thoughts.
exactly. So that's why we be so quick to like, because we got a different interpretation and stuff like, well, that's what that says in the Bible, but no, this how you interpret it though. But like I said, people got to start, and this what I took out of the whole thing. If you start looking at God through a loving way and a forgiving type way, because that's what He is. That's what He do, and I can believe it. The reason why I can believe that is because we're still here. You know what I'm saying? Because imagine if He went off the first time we didn't have a chance to change our life. If He was impatient and we ain't had the time to change our life and all that stuff, we could have got a lightning bolt instantly then. That's how you know that He got to be some type of love, because
I'm gonna
He's
be honest
patient
with
enough to
you.
work with us. You know what I'm saying?
If that was the case, we would probably have more resources on this world right now.
Man.
If God could get at anybody at anything, oh, you messed up, we'll be having everything we need in the world.
So
Man.
it says, hey, what if it's a curse? Well, that's a lot of cursed people in this world.
They
Now
say
that
we
point is
I
when you
mean,
get
I feel.
people questioning who God is.
You know the crazy thing. The crazy thing about this is, and I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I feel like this is hell. Like where we at right now, I feel like this is hell. Just because how everything is going and everything happens, everybody battling against each other. I feel like this is hell, and I feel like we just go through life, and it's testing you. So it's like some people elevate and get better and change their ways. Some people are just gonna be where they at. And it was a movie a long time ago, and it was like they left behind. It's called They Left Behind?
Left
left
behind,
I
yeah.
behind.
forgot.
Yeah, I seen that. Yeah,
Yeah, like
Revelations and
so
all that stuff.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I think of that, I look at the people that's like on Earth that do good, because there's some people out here who not religious, but they do good out the kindness of their heart.
Yep.
They not doing it for a reward. So I'm like, man, if these people are doing it because they truly feel that energy in their heart, but they not religious, what they gonna go to hell? Like
That's
that,
why I
you get what
said
I'm saying?
I don't think that.
So
And
it's
even in the
hard to
Bible, it don't say
really
you got to be in a
say.
religion. That's another thing I be trying to tell people. Like, they don't say you got to be in a certain religion to, to He didn't never tell us we got to be in a certain thing. He do say believe in or try to believe in Jesus. You know what I'm saying? It do say that, but you could believe or not. He got sympathy. I mean, well, no, I don't know the word, but he got grace towards everybody. Really, he even had grace towards the
And that's
Look,
the
why.
Gentiles.
you can read one story that reveals God's temperament. It is the prodigal son.
Mm,
Dissect that story and it revealed God's temperament as a father. Bottom line. And I tell people that's the reason he told that story. And what happens is everybody focuses on the son who's doing a bunch of stuff he shouldn't do, but nobody focuses on the father.
mm.
How he handled that situation, the level of disrespect he tolerated, but always lived in hopes of return to embrace him and bring him back to the state he should be in. He still held him accountable, but he did
The
not
love.
give up on him regardless of the circumstances of things he did to himself and the
Yep.
disrespect he had before he left.
Yep.
And nobody likes to talk about.
Hmm.
Even you hear preacher after preacher talking about he left, he came back. Focus on the father for a second and watch how that story changes before you.
Mm-hmm.
It was
But no,
about the love of the Father. It was about how
hmm
much love he had for him, and he was
Yeah,
happy. He changed. He corrected himself. He acknowledged the
yeah,
truth. He
yeah.
went through hell and high water, but he was happy because he learned his journey in life.
so That's what I'm saying with that statement that you just made right there, right?
Let him live
A
it.
lot of people are now living off of just being kind-hearted and, you know, giving other people who may not deserve it grace, but, you know,
Sure.
people live like that, but are not based on religion. They just don't want to, I guess, spread that negative energy in a sense. So that's why whenever we have a conversation, I always be like, man, I feel like we on inhale, and we inhale right now, and this is the test. And it's gonna be people when God come back that He gonna take up, and here's gonna be people He leave right here.
I think the way they describe hell, I think it's way worse than this though. It literally says it's gonna be the
Other than
worst
the
of the
heat,
worst. It's gonna be some yeah. I
I
don't
mean,
know
it's
about
pretty
that.
bad if you look at
It's bad,
outside.
but I
Ain't
feel you.
nobody been there. Ain't nobody been there to confirm it.
No, nobody haven't. Nobody haven't. But where we get hell from, it came from the Bible. But the only way that we can describe it, that's why I said the way they described it is the only way we can go by off of.
When somebody mess up, go down there and send a message some type of way, cause we.
It
Uh,
sure gets real. Yeah,
I'm,
okay,
let
I'm,
it
I'm
All
trying to
right,
figure out. I'm trying to figure out today and tomorrow.
let me say something right
Like
quick.
I said, honestly, I got the point where I'm gonna cross that bridge when I get to it because as long as I'm focused on that, I'm not focused on who I need to be right now.
Okay, let me say this. Okay, let's not forget about the story about Lazarus. It all
Yeah,
depends
the
on
rich man.
if you believe in the New Testament. If you believe in Yeshua, then you believe in the story of Lazarus and the king. Remember, the
Yep.
king fed his dog better, than he fed Lazarus. He gave Lazarus scraps, but he fed the dog. And he and Abraham was in paradise, and they was looking down in hell. So
Mhm.
why was that recorded? Why did they want us to know that insight? Y'all got to excuse my breath. I'm in here.
I don't know, but I feel like a lot of stuff be recorded, and I just feel like we don't have a real reason. Like it's a
Okay,
lot of
cool.
stuff it's a lot of stuff even in history in these history books when we was in school that was recorded that it did not mean nothing. It didn't mean anything.
Okay, so it don't mean nothing to you. But watch this. This is what the word says. Okay? The word says that Abraham was there. Okay? And he was with Lazarus. And he asked for water. He remembered him. So he was in hell. And he was saying that it was so hot or whatever. But I just want you to know, if you don't have faith in the Old Testament, and if you claim Jesus, if you claim him, you got to believe the words. So that tells you that there is a hell. Revelations tells you that it's a hell. The Old Testament says it's a hell. They call it soul. So what do you believe as a believer? It's a process.
Yeah. But this why I be like this. Why
Can
I
I
be trying
ask
to
a
be more.
question?
What's up? You at a party or something?
No, I'm driving. It's my car. But I wanted to say hi, everybody. King, where you were talking about the people that if people can be born with demons, can it be a curse? Because I don't personally believe that they could be born with demons, but like the examples that you gave, can it be like a curse that was passed on to them?
Right. So if we if we think that a curse is passed on to them, if that's the belief system, then what we're doing is we're saying that God is going to punish those who ended up in a condition that they did not bring upon themselves. That's the challenge that you'll have with people in that conversation with you.
Well, I mean, we know that a lot of time in the Bible would tell you that your kids will have to deal with the whatever you do now. So we know that happens, that the sins of the father can be passed on to the son. So can't that be the reason?
Well, look, it may very well be, but then we introduce the context of, are we saying that God is a God who's not going to be just? He's going to allow those who were innocent to be punished on account of those that were not. So it brings into question, how fair is the God that Christianity promotes at the end of the day. And I'm pointing that out because that could be discouraging to those that are seeking to find a religion to find refuge in for salvation. And when we do that, that's curses. Remember that all of this is interpreted based off of a culture. A lot of people leave that out of the context. This is these people's culture and belief system, just like anybody else's culture. And whatever culture you choose to follow, what doctrine you choose to follow becomes the way that you believe, but not everyone has that same indoctrination. So some might call it possessed, some might call it cursed, but at the end of the day, what comes in the question is, how is God going to treat those innocent people at the end of the day when it comes to judgment?
So I got something for that though.
Wait. Can I say this real quick, King? So I understand what you're saying, but the way I see it is that there are consequences for our actions. Like, say for example, you have a terrible diet and you develop this rare disease, right? That's passed on to your kids. Like, isn't that just the result of you having a terrible diet? Like, why would we say God is unjust for allowing your son to get this disease when it was really on you? It's just the consequences of your action.
No, well, what we're saying about is we're talking about judgment on the other side of that counter. It was before you came in, right? That God
okay.
Right. That's
okay, got it. All right.
Not the lifestyle, it's the end result of how God, whether he puts them in heaven or hell, and these are situations that they did not control, or where they're being, the position they're in.
Got it. Thank you.
So this is what I was about to get to. This one thing I noticed though, because it made me think about that too. And I don't think, I don't want to call it a curse or nothing like that. I do believe that, I do believe reap what you sow. I do believe that situation. So it's like how we lay our life out, we're going to get the results of it. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't call that, because this one made me think about this too. I wouldn't call it God punish. I don't think God punished anybody like that. He wouldn't. I mean, I don't think he not gonna say punish like that, but the way we think punishment is different from how it is. I think everything is done for a reason. I'm put it this way. So it's either to learn from, like it's supposed to really to learn from or adapt from or grow from. Really, most of them situations or something like that. So. When he had a kid that was messed up or something like that, that's something that they had to live with or whatever. I know it seemed like it ain't, I get what you're saying, like it ain't the kid's fault, you know what I'm saying? But it's just, we got to realize, I believe that life itself, I don't think life it's not just for us. It's not just for us and stuff. I think we live in life for our maker. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us think that this not fair, this person happened to them and this, blah, blah, blah. We can say the same thing like babies that pass away and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I think everything has its purpose in life. And I believe even that, I don't think God gonna send them to hell because of the way the condition they was in and all that stuff. I highly doubt that. It's just it was a lesson to get taught in that situation. Like if you do this, or if you fight in the middle of in a relationship or something like that, you're gonna end up falling pregnant and mess your baby. And then they gotta be like that. You know what I'm saying? I know it seems unfair in a human's mind, but I think everything has a reason behind why certain situations it is and stuff.
Right.
Because like that is a truth. Like I believe that is a truth. Just like how she was using the food and all that stuff. We can't cry because we ate like crazy and all that stuff. They ended up catching a disease, got diabetes or something like that because we made that bed and now we got to lay in it. You know what I'm saying? So reap what you sow is true. That's real true.
Those are conditions. But you can't accept free will and not the conditions of your decision. Yeah. That's the fact.
And I know it seems unfair. The way I hear what you're saying though. It seems unfair though. Like why the kid got to pay. Which is saying bold, but I just like I said, it made me realize that life is not.
I don't think it's unfair.
Huh?
I don't think it's unfair.
I don't know. Well, I'm talking about a human mind, but that's what I said. But I can't wrap my heart around that situation to say it like that. But yeah, and a human wise, but I know God know what he doing. At the end of the day, he know what he doing. He knew what decisions we was gonna make. Anyways, like we playing it like we could trick God and stuff, but God knew us before we was born. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why.
Because you know what I believe is this. I believe God created a world that is outlined with boundaries and conditions. Mm-hmm. You reap what you sow. Yep. If you do this happens. And he put those what we call them principles are governing ideologies in place, right? If you jump off of 100-foot building and hit the ground, you will not continue to be alive. Let's just say that. It doesn't matter what you think. These are the circumstances or the consequences of there's consequences and rewards, right? And then what he does, he says, here's mankind. Here, go out there and live your life and learn, and you have free will. He can see you heading in a direction, and
Yep.
you're going to do something, but you're going to accept free will is to accept the consequences as well. Now,
Yep.
when he decides, whatever his factors are, whatever we don't know, to intervene, that's recognized as a miracle. When he decides
Oh
to
yeah, I
alleviate
got
you
you.
of the
Yep.
consequences of your behaviors, that's classified as a miracle, right? However he
I
does
get what
that,
you.
I'm
Yep.
not debating that with nobody. Just whenever you know this should have been the circumstance and it was
Yep.
otherwise,
That's when
that's
he got to
what you
show
call a
himself.
miracle, right?
Yep. That's when
So,
he got to show himself.
right. Now the thing is, if I decide to get in my car, get high as a kite, and drive and hit someone, that's not God's fault. That is the consequences because human interaction now allows me to cross paths with you. And as messed up as it sounds, that's part of the consequences. I have
Mm-hmm.
destroyed another part of mankind by that behavior. If you survive, by all means, it's a miracle. God intervenes, says, I know he should have, but that's not what's going to happen today.
Mm-hmm.
So what his determining factor, what triggers him to decide when to do that, I don't know. I'll just be lucky if it happens to me at the end of the
Yeah.
day. But
Yep.
you have to allow free will and accept responsibility. I think oftentimes people try to credit God or Satan, Lucifer, whatever you want to title today, and give them credit for things that you actually did.
Yeah. Right.
You
Feel you
you
on that.
you you you're deciding to do something that you shouldn't have done, and now it's the
Come on,
devil.
King.
You put in the work. Now God is not intimidated by your little by our little peon minds that we think we have high IQs. Man,
Word.
I passed that test. If it wasn't for God, no, if it wasn't for you studying, thank God He let you wake up to study today. So
Mm-hmm.
we pass this credit for some things when we feel like it, instead of accepting responsibility and understanding that
I
everything you
got you.
could possibly think of was created by the God. So He gets credit for everything at the end of the day. He gets credit for the environment, but you get responsibility or you get judged for your works. Your
Mm-hmm.
decision making is what you get judged for.
Yeah.
And people
Yeah.
don't want to accept that no more. You can go in a church nowadays with people full of people that will not make a decision and just say, I'm gonna pray about it. That's a
Yeah.
cliche
Right.
statement nowadays. I'm gonna pray. Well, after you pray, you still gotta do what? Work.
Work. It say pray
At
without
the end
work
of the
is
day.
what they say. Pray without work is
Faith
Yeah.
without works is
It's
dead.
is
dead.
dead.
Being
Yeah. So
alone.
unalived. Yeah.
Hey, let's hear from Hobo because she says she don't believe in any other stories.
Yeah. She don't. Yeah. She don't. She like so bunch of stuff. She the opposite on.
Oh man, I can
Yeah.
get that. Look, you'll notice what I'm doing, right? I'm not siding with any of the story. I'm just telling it as I've learned it
Yeah. I
and
got you. Yeah.
extracting the principle for a conversation piece. So whether you believe in it or not, hey, I just want you to get the
Yeah.
point.
Everybody's
At
entitled to it. That's why I tell
the
people
end of
they're
the day,
entitled to what they
because the
believe. And
principles work. My quote is this: methods are many, principles are few. Methods change, principles never do. So no matter how the story is told, what name you put on it, what a group of people tell it, if it's a principle and it stands strong, then it benefits everyone.
yep.
Yeah, if you don't have faith at the end of the day, the secret to the recipe is that we learn how to bake. And we got to bake and we got to do things the right way. We got to try, we got to attempt, we got to have a relationship. And
Yep.
we just got to give that attempt. He didn't say you was going to be perfect. Ain't nobody perfect.
Nope.
Right.
You can try your best. And this is where I think people shouldn't have fear. And they don't even want to try. So they just say, well, I'm just not going to believe the Godhead. I'm not going to believe who's who or whatever. I am not going to believe the stories. But at the end of the day, you know that somebody created you.
Yeah.
You know that
Right.
somebody created you.
That's where it starts.
Look at King and look at Hobo. They look entirely different. I mean, look at me and look at Sonia, whatever that so look, we look entirely different, but she's womb man, because she come out the womb, and you gotta believe the creation, and there is a heaven. There is wherever Yahweh, God Almighty is, there is a heaven, or wherever he called his place. That he does have a throne wherever he is. Yes. If he said from the beginning of the time until 2,000, 5,000 years, however it took, how long it took to write the Bible. And if they all prophesize that there is a hell, they call it soul, and then they call it hell, Hades. Okay? So there is a heaven and there is a hell. And we do gotta try to reach that mark. We do gotta have a relationship. We gotta have a relationship. We gotta have the understanding that our will is to understand his will. You know, and I'm not flying high. I'm not floating on water. I'm just a regular man that just believes that I know that there's a God. I can open my eyes. I can look on this TikTok and see the technology and all this stuff. I know there is a God. So I'm
Yeah.
not going to be one of the ones that say, I'm not going to believe anything somebody wrote in that book. No. This is too much evidence. It's too much evidence.
Yeah.
So they say a fool said there's no God. A fool say there's no, not to offend anybody, there's no heaven and hell. A fool says that. He say, follow a fool in his folly, he'll be smarter than you. You know, and that's why you gotta be careful who teach you and show you things. That's why you say study and show yourself approved. Show yourself. Keep driving. But yeah, so that's just my point on it right there. You know, listening to
So
King.
I got something for that though, because even with that, I feel you on that, and this is the reason why I'm gonna keep on telling people that, you know, I feel like everybody's really entitled to what they believe in, because like I said, everybody's mind is different. Everybody believe what they believe. Maybe somebody don't believe in hell. We can call them fool, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We can do all that. But the thing is that I think God's people come in all different type of forms. You know what I'm saying? We might, you know what I'm saying? I think everybody learns stuff different. Just like Touche was in here talking about the people that live good lives, but probably ain't never seen a Bible in their life and all that stuff. So I believe they're God people and all that stuff. The thing is, I believe, like, if we even go back to the Bible, I don't think the people in the Bible knew they were the Bible. You know what I'm saying? So it's like they didn't have nothing to look forward to. Right now, we got a Bible to look at and read and all that stuff. But I'm just saying that if you didn't have a
Bible, they knew that they were God's people, though.
Exactly. But I'm just saying that I'm pretty sure people across the sea believe that they're God's people. Or people that don't have different religions, they believe they're God's people. You know what I'm saying? Right. So we can't limit God's people or God's ability because for what we believe in. You know what I'm saying? Because it do say my people perish from lack of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of us don't know no better. We're no different from like what King was saying earlier about the people that mentally challenge and stuff. To God, we're still mentally challenged people. We're still learning. We're still trying to grow. We're still trying to figure stuff out. Just because we think we smart, that don't mean we know everything. That's why I be saying that, you know, we keep thinking that God got the mind we got and all that stuff. You supposed to know better. You supposed to this and all that. Oh, you must be a fool. Or, you know, all this stuff. We can't do that or misinterpret it that way, because all of us is really fools to God anyways. All of us are sinners. All of us might be trying in different ways and all that stuff. All of us, like I said, all of us don't have access to what we know. You know what I'm saying? So we got to think it, like I said, when it say grace, God's grace, he really has grace. So to everyone, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just because we read up on something and think because nobody else didn't read up on it that they're not part of that situation. I think God is way much bigger than that.
Yeah, he is, and no one who is in that predicament right here, right now, and you know, and we don't want to speak to the level of the less than. You know, we want to speak on the level of acknowledgement that we know that we study ourselves. Everybody has their own temple. Everybody is their own temple, and God is going to dwell with us accordingly to however we live. Yep. If you choose not to believe, and I ain't worried about something. If God put a word in me, and if you have never heard the voice, you have never heard the Spirit of God, you never heard His voice, you never heard His direction. His sheep knows His voice, and that's another conversation. You know, and just because you didn't hear His voice does not mean that you would never hear His voice. So we're not speaking condemnation on anybody. You know, and just because you had a rough start in life 30, 40 years ago does not mean your last 30, 40 years is going to be a rough way of living. So there is room to change. And that's what the Bible is talking about. Even Judaism, you know, even Buddhism, even Muslim, even Islam. Every religion talks about change.
Yeah.
Every religion talks about change. And that's the idealism that you should be in, is saying, hey, you know what? Every religion talks about change. Mm-hmm. So we're all different, and God has an understanding that He is the head, and we understand each other in different languages. When the languages got separated, people understood different.
Yep.
So they understand God in their way. This group understands God in their way. And depends on how you live in your temple and what you believe in, then that's the way God gonna judge you. We can't say what God is gonna do. I
Yep.
can't say you going to heaven or hell.
Yep.
I can't say nobody is, I can't say nothing. I gotta worry about me. And if
Yep.
it's something you need that I can share, and if I share it,
You know, Rod, you're so right with that. Condemnation, I think, is our biggest downfall as Christians or followers of God. We love to condemn people, and like I see it on lives all the time. Like, oh, you're this, oh, you're going to hell. Oh, you're this, you're going to like, and it's crazy to me because I think that's the biggest factor in what discourages people when it comes to the faith.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then they
Look,
label all of us the same way because people got
she
these
opened up the door. She opened
Yeah.
up the door for what I want to get at, right?
Yep.
So here's the scenario. If you didn't know me and you saw me abusing someone continuously every day for 1 month, and then I came up to you and said, let me teach you how to live a great life, would you follow me? Would you believe anything I had to say? And the answer is probably no. What's happened over the years is that people who have witnessed certain religious sectors in an abusive positioning in their experience, right? Misuse, talk to,
The
abuse at every
Catholics.
level. They have created the imagery that is not conducive to peace and everything that they preach per se. So these people have chosen, like, you can't get me to believe nothing you say because your behaviors have been documented to be more harmful. So that's why it's been important, if you follow what Paul was trying to tell people, that you will be written epistles. He was saying, get out of the religious environment and live the life and let people be compelled unto you so that you can pass your peace unto them without a religious denomination per se, or with some hovering thing that goes over your head. And unfortunately, what a lot of religions have done, they've recreated the very building or organization that Jesus came to dismantle according to the text. So now, because within confines of those entities, you have abuse. When you can find anything that's a self-destructive behavior that happens. So you have people like Hobo, who's probably saw the worst of the people who are trying to tell you how to be the best.
Right.
So now, how can I
Exactly.
believe anything you say?
Yep.
The hand that hurt me can't help me, is what I always say.
Exactly.
So
But
what I had to do is I had to take off the priestly garments so I could have a bigger impact on people. And I don't have to have the title. I don't want the title. I want the relationship with
the
people.
relationship, that's all that
But I
matters.
had to let that go because I once walked in the priestly garments. But I
Mm-hmm.
also saw the interpretation of the average person who was hurt, because it says what you do to the least is what you do all things as you do unto God, but what you do to the least is what you do unto him. So what did God do, right? Let me give you an image of me that's least offensive, that you don't even suspect, is not in reach the garment, that looks just like you, to walk amongst you, to draw you.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, hey, that's a good cue from the text. Let me do that. Let me get out of the fascism of religion and we're more superior. And if you're not us, you're not chosen, you're nobody. And start
Right.
walking amongst the
Exactly.
people. And I was able to compel more people to changing, like my man said, changing their behaviors.
Change.
Because at
Yep.
the end of the day,
That's
that's
all
my
that
end
matter.
game. Can we live peaceable as possible amongst all men? If that means getting them to stop doing something that can hurt me, and that's the goal for me, and that's, one plant, one water, God gives the increase, let me do my part and get out the way. And I don't need a title, I don't need a recognition, I don't need a pulpit, I don't need any of that stuff, long as I do what I'm called and destined to do to help somebody become better. Period.
Yep. That's all that matter. And that's all he wants us to help each other out at the end of the day. We ain't got to put no title on it or nothing. Gotta help each other out, man. Love each other,
I want to hear what Hobo got to say.
All right. Well, hello, everybody.
What's the deal?
What's up, Hobo?
Okay, so I'm gonna try to run through as much as possible, as quickly as possible. So I grew up Southern Baptist. We went to church, what, four days a week, every single week, consistently. So yeah, but now I would say that if I had to pick, I definitely believe more in science, and if I had to do like a religion, it'd be closer to Hinduism. But I like pork a lot, so I am not Hindu. Moving on. Oh, so the story of the prodigal son, the reason why that was the beginning of like me questioning things and me not liking church as much is what happened? Dude, okay, right. So dude comes back out of nowhere after being like terrible, and his brother, right, his daddy was like, go kill the calf, right? I'm sorry, go
On the
make
live.
meat from the calf. And the son was like, for what? He was bad. He did bad things. Why should I do anything nice for him? And I was like, that seems like a fair assessment to me. And church said, no, he was wrong for feeling that way. He should have supported his brother no matter what. And he was probably going to go to hell because he felt like that. And I was like, well, that seems like a human emotion. And if we're condemning people to hell for being human, that seems counterproductive to the whole human experience thing. What else was there? Okay, the whole demon embodiment thing. Yeah, I
Wait,
think that
hobo. Before you go further, let me just drop this in your mind and your spirit. That's why I said focus on the Father. The church preached, some preacher, let me not say the church, some preacher preached that interpretation when the fact was that's not what's written in the text. And that's what I don't like about some preachers. They say, let me tell you my version of what I think happened. Just tell us the story. The story was that brother was upset, rightfully so. The brother was disrespectful, so he was having a hard time. Why was his brother having a hard time? Here's the part you never heard him say, because he was still maturing. He was still learning. That's the only, that's it. That's the end of the story. He was still mature, still learning.
Like 14, 15 or something like that?
Yeah, they were young. They were young. You know, people don't break that story down that when that son asked for his inheritance, you don't ask for the inheritance until your father's passed, till he's dead. That was disrespectful. The eldest son, according to Jewish custom, gets 2/3. So here it is. That son, here's why the son was upset, right? Rightfully so, because truthfully, the son owned everything. The father had to disperse this inheritance to his sons. The 1/3 went and got ruined. The other 2/3, guess who the owner of it was? The son that was still there. He owned everything according to Jewish customs. So yeah, he was rightfully, hold on, that is for me now, no disrespect, but he don't deserve any of this. So it was just sibling, misunderstanding, frustration, and that's where the story ends. So when preachers start adding their own little je ne sais quoi to it and saying, that son going to hell, he was wrong, that is absolutely incorrect according to the text. It was a family misunderstanding. Growth spurts had to happen. Maturity had to happen. It was being human. But here's what I'm confident in. That father knew how to handle both of those sons that he raised.
Mm-hmm.
And he was not going to abandon that. That they did not say that father put that son, I can't believe you. Leave. Bye. He did not do that. But some preachers preach it that way. And that's what messes people up when they hear that story. I'm sorry for interrupting, but go ahead and jump in there, my friend.
Oh, no, you're good. But look, you made me think about that too, because I used to actually, like, recently, a little while ago, then I had to figure it out a little bit. I used to like when people do that. I call that the scare tactic and stuff, and that's what I grew up off of until I figured it out and read it for myself and stuff. So I realized, that's why and people don't realize that we are the church. You know what I'm saying? It's not the building. You know what I'm saying? That's another thing. That's why we must talk among each other so we can come to a answer or try to figure out something. That's why we all supposed to talk, because everybody got their own interpretation. That's what it is. That's what the church is. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't like that, some churches do, I'm gonna say pastors, because I don't like, because that's another problem. Everybody want to put everything in a hole. They go, Christianity like this, or Catholics do it. No, it's the people that's teaching, because every last religion got different ways how they do this, but it's just to be the person that's interpreted a different way. So we can't be just labeling everything as a whole and all that stuff, because everybody do it different. But I realized with the scare tactic, and I believe that, like I said, everything happened for a reason. So it made me think about that. I used to feel a certain way, like, man, why do they do the scare tactic? They don't work on everybody and all that stuff, or whatever. And then I don't know why the pastors try to make it seem like everybody got to go to hell and all this stuff. But I realized that work with some people though. Like, it do work with some people to get them straight and stuff. And some people do have to hear it in a scare tactic way, because otherwise they probably wouldn't change their life. So some people do need that scare tactic, stopping them from probably committing. So it stopped them from doing all type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So some people do need that scare tactic in their life and all that stuff. So and then another thing is, it teaches another person to actually read for themselves, so they can be like, oh, you know what, that ain't right. The way the pastor said, that's not even right how they did it. Because I done figured that out as I got older and stuff. I'm like, I be talking. I just talk to my mom sometimes. I done talk to pastor like that just don't sound right and stuff. And then I read it for myself. We both read it for ourselves and stuff. I'm like, look, this what it really mean and all that stuff. And they be like, oh wow. But not saying that my interpretation is right either. But it's just like, it show that everybody got their own type of interpretations and stuff. But it make people read for themselves. That's what it is. Because otherwise you wouldn't just be believing because the pastor just saying it. Pastors is humans just like us.
That's why I say you got to study and show yourself approved. And we are the temples that make us accountable. We
Yeah.
are individually accountable. I can't
Yep.
pray for you to go to heaven.
Yeah.
I can't pray for King to make it to heaven off my prayers. And then he doesn't do the work to make it to show relationship. It's all about relationship. There's nothing hard about this. And he knows what we're going through. He just wants us to talk to him. He wants to say, hey, forgive me for my sins. Hey, Lord, I'm checking in with you. You know, I had a tough time. You know, I made some mistakes. Can you please forgive me? I need to start over, you know, and I need another chance, XYZ. That's what asking for forgiveness is. So in that relationship, and that you know, and intentionally trying to do something and then you have it rigged up, that's more sinful too. It's when you're intentionally sin. So you got a conversation of how you sin and how much you sin and how much the knowledge you know that you're sin. What do you acknowledge about yourself? You continue to do the same thing over and over and over and over, you know, but it's really simple, and it's a hard process. You know why? Because we're killing the flesh. Our whole conversation from the very beginning.
All right, King, I hear you. Yep.
Remember, we was killing the mental part of the flesh. How to humble yourself, and how to get yourself under control, and then verbally, what comes out of a man, so is he. What comes out of a man, so is he. So once you get your spirit right, and your words will be power. Okay? So, but you got that knowledge and listen to the personal relationship, and the Holy Spirit is what's talked to you. Okay? The helper, the comforter. You know, that's the comforter. Like when Yeshua was on the, when you know, I don't know if you know him by Yeshua. I'm gonna say Jesus. When he was on the cross, when he was about to die, he said, Lord, why have thou forsaken me?
Yep.
He said, why have thou left me? He said, why you leave me? He felt the Holy Spirit of God leave him. You know why? Because God can't die. His spirit can't die. So now Jesus was just like us, because man didn't have the Holy Spirit. Now that was the sacrifice. He said, if it's your will, let it be your will, and let it be done. That's when he sacrificed, when he was just like a man after the Holy Spirit left him. So the Holy Spirit cannot die. Okay? So, and God, yes, Yahweh is sitting on his throne. He is not leaving Yeshua's body and then floating around in the sky somewhere. No, it doesn't work like that, because Yeshua prayed for the comforter to come and help, and he'll bring all things to our knowledge. He'll tell us all things. He'll bring everything to our remembrance. You know, everything that you read, everything that you study, all the relationships you have with God, the conversations that you have with God. You know, he said, I'll bring all the word that you read, I'll bring it back to your remembrance, and I'll talk to you. And I'll explain to you what this is. And I'll show you. Have you ever heard that little voice in your head say, man, you know what? If you do this, this is going to happen. And then all of a sudden you see it happen. You see, and that's how quick it is. And that's how you can hear. My sheep know my voice. And there's a lot of people here listening. They know that voice too. Somebody telling them the right thing, and they have heard in their conscience somebody telling them the wrong thing. You know, and then when you know that you've done the right thing, you feel happy and you feel blessed. And when you don't, let's say being a convicted felon, if you're not a convicted felon, then you can prosper more. You can get loans. You can go to college. You can get jobs. You can work for state and federal government. But if you are a convicted felon, you got to live a standard way of living, and you got to go around to make sure that you can be as smart as possible to make ends meet. So you're going to have to be accountable for what you've done. And that's not a generational curse. That's your accountability. You got to be accountable for what you've done. And you got to take the responsibility for your choices. So next thing you know, you're living a lifestyle that you no longer live that way anymore. But guess what? You're on this standard, and you can make a worse standard. He'll give you the knowledge to make a worse standard, a higher standard. So people see you, they won't even know what happened to you. You know, so it's all about relationship, and it's all about a process.
Relationship at the end of the day, yeah. Yeah.
At the end
And
of the day, it's
this another thing. I think, and I feel. So do you believe that he just sitting at the throne right now?
he's on his throne. He has his spirit. He has his
Oh,
angels. You know, and he has everything that he has presented to us. He has even 50 million times greater. We have no idea what this is, but he gave us a little bit, just a little bit to believe. That's why he say, "I give you a little bit," because
yeah.
if I gave you a lot, you won't be able to understand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Jesus told his disciples. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why he say, "Have the faith of a grain of a mustard seed,
I must have said,
just a
yup.
little, just a little bit." And you
Yep.
know how big a mustard seed is.
Right.
That much faith. Only thing you need to do is pray and ask for forgiveness and try your best to do right. And that's the part that's hard. Because now we defeating against, we fighting ourselves, and we got this spirit in us that's called Satan, Lucifer, sin. We got the son of prediction. We got to deal with the principalities of the air. We got to deal with all this spiritual stuff. But some people don't believe in spirits. They don't believe in spirits. They don't believe. They think it's a myth. They think it's something or it's
Yeah.
not real. And then they blame it on the Bible. But look at Jewish customs. Look at Jewish customs.
I froze up when I came in.
And you look at the Jewish customs and see
Do you
exactly what
believe
they.
he omnipresent too? Right.
Like,
Huh?
He omnipresent too, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was just trying to make sure. Okay, I try to see because I'm about to say that's in the Bible too. I don't think I think he probably sitting on the throne, but he everywhere. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? I believe he's everywhere.
Let me tell you this right here. Let me tell you this right here. Yahweh is on his throne. His spirit is everywhere. The eyes of the Lord is everywhere. That's in the Bible. The eyes of the Lord, his power is magnificent. His power is amazing. We don't know. But only thing he told us that his eyes are everywhere. He knows your mind. He knows your thought. He knows what's in your heart. He knows all that stuff.
Yeah, right. Exactly. He knew us before we was born. That's another thing.
You know
And
every
this
hair.
another thing. I think we got another chance. And I was thinking deep on that too. What he said that about being a believer and all that stuff. I think everybody in this world gonna get a chance to become a believer. I think at the end of times, I think that because it says that every knee shall bow, and every tongue gonna confess at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why I think it's more deeper than what we know, because I think like I always think about like what happened to the babies. The babies before they pass away, do they get a chance to believe and all that stuff? So it's like so much stuff I be thinking, or the people that got mental problems and all that stuff, like when they get a chance to believe and all that stuff. So I believe that I think it's deeper than what we think it is. I do believe God it's set up in a way to where we all gonna know him at the end of the day. And that's the reason why I think that his judgment is different from what we think it is. I do believe in judgment, and it's gonna be something that we ain't gonna expect. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? So people like I even believe like people like Hitler. We might think he a bad guy or something like that, but we don't know what he went through to get to where he was at and all that stuff. All we know is he did a lot of wrong. He's evil in our eyes and stuff. But all we know, he might end up God may end up still sending him to heaven. You know what I'm saying? We don't know that. You know what I'm saying? That's why we can't really make them judgments.
Let me tell you this one. This is the funny part. What Yeshua come for and what all the teachings are, Jewish religions does not even believe that. So you go to the Old Testament, the Jewish believe are the Ten Commandments. Okay? Now, it was already proven that you couldn't live by the Ten Commandments. So they boiled it down and said, well, we're going to make man live on the inside versus pretending to have holiness on the outside. So they was pretending to be holy. So he changed the law from the outward appearance to the inner appearance. You know, so that's the key. But listen, every religion does not believe that Yeshua was who he was. Okay?
Yeah, they don't.
They don't believe.
But
they
I don't
don't
think
believe
God
in
gonna punish none of them for not believing either. I don't think he's gonna do that
exactly.
either though. Because everybody
he told you that the Jews, the people, he said, woe unto the people that's pretending to be Jews. Now, see, this is a whole nother relationship and a whole nother conversation. You got to know where you come from. You got to know who you are. You know, and that's another whole detailed situation, you know. But it is what it is, and that's
Yeah.
why you got to minimize, you know, your relationship, and you know, then all of a sudden you get people talking about all this different stuff. You know, you remember we was talking earlier. You can't let different knowledge confuse you or make you think a certain way, or their way is the only way.
Yeah.
No, no. It's the way that you study and show yourself approved.
Yeah.
The way you study. When it gets to God, can't nobody. I shouldn't have to say nothing. This guy shouldn't have to say nothing. That guy.
Exactly.
We all should know who God is at the end of
We
the
do.
day.
We do.
Yeah,
We might not
yeah.
understand it from another human, but I know at the end of the day, God knows. You know what I'm saying?
You
Like I
said it.
said,
Because
everybody believe that they're true, but all this stuff is teachings from. That's the reason I chose to be more open minded on everything. That's what I chose. You know what I'm saying? I let everybody believe what they believe. I believe what I believe. You know what I'm saying? I chose to be more open minded because we can get proven wrong any day about what our beliefs is one day. You know what I'm saying? We'll never know because all we going off is what we've been taught in our experiences. That's all we know, and all we know is our own truths. And that's why I be telling people that just because we got our own truth, that don't mean that it's the truth, or our own experiences, our own, our own beliefs. That don't mean it's the truth because somebody told us it was the truth. You know what I'm saying? Because all this stuff, the way our character right now is, it came from another human. You know what I'm saying? It was something we learned from another human. So that's why I'm like, at the end of the day, we all know. We know what we try to know what's right and wrong. We try, you know what I'm saying, for what our beliefs is, and we know that it was a creator. Or some people don't believe it's a creator. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't think nobody gonna get punished for not knowing it's a creator because that's their mindset. That's the mindset God gave them. At the end
But
of the day, so
see, in that part right there, I disagree because that means that the Godhead in the system of believing and having faith isn't true. And yes, people are now. Look, my fact is that people are going to get to. I'm going to get judged. I'm going to get to the point where he's going to. It depends on how I live in my body and how I think and how I act and respond. And my my unclean, nasty, no good for nothing tail. Look, I am nowhere near holy, and you got to put yourself down. You can't make yourself more than what you are. You can say, yes, I'm on the road. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm trying my best. That's what you got to do. That's what you should do. You know, but to say that there's no heaven and he wouldn't send nobody to hell and he wouldn't do this, he wouldn't do that, and people come here, that means people can just kill people. And let's say somebody did, just horribly off 50 people, and then you say that there's no way that person is going to go to a worse place.
we
I'm
don't
just
know.
saying. I mean, people can do anything, and it just doesn't fit the description. It doesn't
I
fit the
don't think
God.
really like God's people really do that. A person that's really that, you know what I'm saying? But I do believe a confused person that got taught up and brought up wrong, that could be God's people, they possibly can do it too. Like I said, but I don't think that I do believe a lot of us is just really confused. We think we know what we know, you know what I'm saying? But I don't think none of us is as smart as God, you know what I'm saying? So all of us, like I said, all of us got our own teachings. All of us got our own teachers and stuff. So
That's
what
why
might seem wrong in our eyes could be, you know what I'm saying? We don't know what seem wrong in our eyes might be right in, another situation. So we don't know why people do what they do. That's why he told us to love even our enemy. You know what I'm saying? Love our enemy. 'Cause we don't know who our enemy is for real. You know what I'm saying? We can say that somebody that's treating somebody bad, we was once them people that was treating somebody bad and we just grew from it. But we don't know. We don't know if somebody grew or mature yet. That's why we got people that go to jail and all that stuff, that did the worst stuff, and then come out a super religious type person, all that stuff, because they had the chance. God gave them a chance to open their eyes and stuff and realize what they're doing was wrong. Even Paul sat there and unalived many, many Christians. You know what I'm saying? God had to blind him. You know what I'm saying? He blinded him and all that stuff. Oh no, his name was Saul. His name was Saul before it was Paul. You know what I'm saying? So he had to blind him, and you know what I'm saying. Then after he realized what he was doing, you know what I'm saying, gave him his vision back. He ended up being like one of the best men ever. You know what I'm saying? He ended up being the best, and he was like the leader of the Christians. You know what I'm saying? So we could have said at that time when he was sitting there offering Christians back to back, he was an evil person, all that. But a lot of people just don't know what they're doing. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, I already know. Yeah, I
That's
already
what I'm
know
saying.
it.
So we don't know from our eyes. We don't know who do what. That's what I said. We can't really make judgment on. They can't
No,
be. You know what I'm saying? But we don't know.
that
We
ain't.
just we trying to figure it out.
That's not my job.
Yeah, it ain't.
My job is to listen. My job is to listen to his voice. If I'm in a position to
Yeah,
listen to his voice,
yeah.
every day I may not be in a position to listen to his voice. Okay, it could be no telling when, and then, but my normal humbleness and my normal common sense tells me to shun away from evil and to live the best that I could live. Now, me telling somebody they going to heaven or hell, that ain't my job. But I'm not gonna sit up here and make it seem like that I don't have anything to say about it whenever I know the truth. Now, if I know a truth, why should I not tell my brother, hey man, think that you should tie your shoe? Because
Yeah, I
he say
got you.
why? Because you might just trip. You know,
Yeah,
it's stuff like that. The
I feel you
small
on that.
thing.
I feel you. Yeah.
It's not time that you telling people that, hey, you're gonna go to hell. See, we're not one of them people that's
Yeah, I
gonna
feel
tell
you.
somebody you're going straight to hell, or like an old Baptist preacher. You know, you're going straight to hell fire. You know, you committed a sin. What did I do? You looked at that woman, you lust. What? Now you can see through my mind and you can see through my eyes. You know what I'm thinking? I lust. You know she
Right.
got a big butt. You know stuff. It ain't. They listen. I promise you. This is how the teachings were, but like he said, that there be many false prophets. There'll be
Yes.
many
Yes.
people saying that, Lord, I did this, I did that. He said, no, but I ain't never know
And
you.
I never knew
He
you,
said,
and I take that serious too. And if you think
yeah,
really deep on that, because a lot of people like to try to twist it, I thought real deep on that too. I don't think when
yeah.
he say that he never knew you, I think he really never knew you. But the way humans put it in, that's what I think about it. He make it seem like that. No, you did wrong, so I don't know you. No, I don't think God like that. I think he
No,
really deeply mean it's people that call on his name that he never knew. That's what it is.
relationship. That's why I say every day, like today, I got a relationship because every time I eat and drink, I say, you know, I thank you, Lord. I remember your body and your blood, and Yeshua name I pray. And this is the way Yeshua says to pray, to remember my body. He said, if you remember my body when you eat, and when you remember my blood when you drink,
Yeah.
he said, you know, that's a sign that you are a son of God. Okay, you're a son of God if you do this and remember me. So when we remember him, he'll remember us.
Mm-hmm.
Some people live their whole life free. I'm free. I can do what I want to do. I don't care about no book. I don't care about nobody. I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna just live. Them the people. Then when they in the hospital about to die, now they talking about God. Oh, can you pray for me? I can't like look, even right now I can't say where they going, but that ain't the way it was scripted. He said have a relationship. He didn't make it complicated. He didn't say you had to do this, you had to do that. He just said he gave you the 7 fruits of the spirit. He gave you love, meekness, humbleness, kindness, patience. He gave you all this stuff, and then he gave you witchcraft. Now, earlier we was talking about, you know, the witchcraft stuff. He said witchcraft, seduction, seditions, okay, murder,
I'm about to call it in
hate,
5 minutes, man.
yeah, lust. I mean, he gave the fruits of the spirit. He said, if you would not inherit the kingdom of heaven if you have these unfruits of the spirit. You know, and he did put witchcraft and sorcery in it. And that's why you got to study. And when that guy was telling me, nah, it's that. I'm like, nah, man, you ain't telling me. That's in the word. Go to Galatians and look at the fruits of the spirit and tell me witchcraft and sorcery ain't there. And then you get people that tell you that it's okay to do and it's okay to sit around and fantasize about horoscopes. You know, so and that's
Yeah, but
it.
that's
But man,
a lot of people don't know what they're doing. That's all it is. It's not like they purposely, because I think whoever created or made that up might have been the one, but the people that's following the steps, I don't think they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they're doing. That's all it is. A lot of us don't know what we're doing. We probably doing a lot of stuff that we don't know we not supposed to be doing and it's right and stuff. But
I'm a sinner. I sin every day. You know, I'm not holy. You know, I'm trying my best to have a relationship. I'm
yeah,
hoping and pray that God forgive me for my sins. I'm
yeah,
a sinner tomorrow when I wake up, you know, in this body.
yeah.
So I know the corruption is here And and it's a process, and you got to have a relationship every day, and you can stop saying it. No matter how, you still ain't gonna be perfect. You still is not gonna be perfect. But what he's saying by you can be perfect through Christ, what he's saying is that you'll be perfect because you'll shun evil. You'll try your best to not be tempted. You resist the devil, he shall flee. He said you'll resist more than going after. Some people just give you a bunch of crap, and then they just go after the devil and tell you that it's okay to do, and then because they want you to go to hell with them. But if you say, no, man, I don't want to do this. No, I'm not finna go over there and rob that store. No, I'm not finna go sell these drugs. No, I'm not finna go do this right here. No, I ain't going to the club. No, I ain't finna do all that, man. And then you shunning evil, and now you go home, and you keeping yourself safe, and he'll give you shelter. He'll keep you safe and sound, and everything will be. He'll put angels around you, protect you, all that stuff. So that's a relationship. But bro, I appreciate you, man. I'm ready to eat anyway.
Oh yeah, for sure,
So
man. Good looks, man. Good looks for coming
exactly.
through. I'll be on tomorrow. Try to be on all these week. I gotta stay consistent, man. I'm trying to get this going, man. Get some connections going. Get a lot of people's different mindsets going. We can make some connections and stuff. So bring the
That's
church
what,
together.
yeah, because I be like boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I only get on TikTok for 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. But I'm gonna holler back at you, man. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Good looks, man.
Be safe, man.
Yep. Hobo, wake up.
I'm still here.
Okay. Yep. Thank you for stopping by. I ain't seen you in a minute. Dang, where midnight at, man? Tell him I said what up. What up, dude? That's how we say it in Detroit. What up, dude?
What up, dude?
Right.
Baby. Yeah, what up? Kev said, what's up? What up, Kev?
What's the deal? Like, nah.
Yeah, he's helping with dinner because the baby won't
Oh,
leave me alone. So
the little human. But
she's not a
hey,
happy
man,
camper.
I'm gonna catch y'all tomorrow. I done went past my time. Try to catch it. Try to see if I can go to bed in a half hour. Do all this stuff. But thanks for stopping by. And whoever
Of
in this
course.
down there, if y'all ain't follow me, follow me.
It's true. Bye.
All right. Hold that. Anybody in here? Did y'all? All right.